Kpro cow powwow. Cow powwow. Kpro cow powwow wow. It's the Kpro cow powwow wow.
All right, welcome everybody. It is not the Kpro cow powwow. It's not Monday night. It's Thursday night, and that means coffee with Kpro and cow. But you get the idea. Welcome everybody for joining us tonight. How you doing, Kpro? I'm good. Hopefully the audio is okay. Christy pointed out an issue, so hopefully it's better than it was last show. We shall see. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about the 10th clue. And I know a couple of people were like, 10th clue? I mean, there's 9. What the heck's the 10th clue, Christy? What's the 10th clue?
Why are you adding an additional clue?
Making it more difficult.
What does 10 clue mean? And I was thinking, newbies, come on, don't you have Once Upon a While? Don't you even see what we're talking about? But of course, no, they don't. And so we're talking about it.
So it wasn't called the 10th clue. It was technically called the final clue in the forward.
Hold on. Can't
what?
hear Kpro. No sound from Kpro.
Uh-oh.
You guys are kidding. I'm going to push.
All right, hang on. Hang on. Talk, Kpro.
Hard to hear.
Oh, yeah, no, you're not on here for some reason. All right, hang on. And is that because... Why would that be?
Kpro is not too loud.
Maybe we did it on purpose, everybody. All right, hang on. All right, talk now.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? I'm ready to give a hint.
Hang on, everybody. It's always something.
No, I think I just played the Forrest Fenn quote, and Forrest
we
Fenn
missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Where the heck is? Let's see. No,
can they hear you? Yeah.
Oh,
I think they can hear you now. All right, let us know, everybody. Can you hear her now? Talk, Kpro.
Can you hear me now? Hey, hello, everybody. Can you hear me now? 1, 2, 3. Check your battery. Thank you. Walking amongst lions. Yes. Okay, now there's an echo. Move your mic closer. There's an echo. Too loud. No. Echo.
Yeah, it's probably the way I've got this set up. Maybe. Hang on. Although, well, what changed is when you told me to make that change. That's what changed. But I don't know why.
My fault?
No, I'm not saying it's your fault. I just don't understand. The microphone is right.
Okay. I'm plugging my microphone. Okay. And...
Oh, wait.
What do you think, friends?
There, that might be it. Now, talk.
1, and then 2, and then 3.
Too loud. What'd you do? Or maybe that's something I did.
I turned it up on my... Okay.
Yeah, it's way too loud. No, it's not on your. It's not on your end. So hang on.
Hold on. No, but I turned mine up dramatically. Okay.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, I did, and so now. Okay, tell me. This is where it was before. Good now. Do I get a cookie, Corey? Here's 4 cookies from AJ. Good now.
I don't know if you fixed it or I fixed it. Let me see.
Does it matter who gets credit? Does it matter?
All right, everybody. I guess we're back.
Okay.
Talk, Kpro.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I want to be heard, but I don't care if I am. It could be a mic show tonight.
Well, it's different on my end, but as long as you guys can hear, and I guess we're okay.
You need a voice synthesizer for Kpro, and I so know what that means. Like, okay.
We have the Rodecaster. I just haven't had time to get it to work or learn how to use it because I've been boxing Chaseopolis all day and all week, really. Well, merely all day. But anyway, all right. I got 23 games out in the mail today, so look for those of you that have bought Chaseopolis.
Jim S. says, perfect. That's all I needed. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. Glad
I have nothing important to say. It actually works out well when I'm muted. Just saying. Let me have my little cow drink here. Okay.
Okay, so what we were talking about was Once Upon a While doesn't actually say the 10th clue. The forward in Once Upon a While actually says the final clue, right? The actual words that Douglas Preston says is...
Dear Lord, many people think this is Oh,
Oh,
I
I
need to
thought
get
you were
to my
just looking
books.
at it. Oh, you weren't? Okay. Well,
No,
no, people can correct us. Somebody out there has
they
it. He
always
actually
do.
says the parking lot would be the final clue. And we had a searcher, we had a person who listens and watches send us in their interpretation of what that meant. And I thought it was kind of interesting. So we're actually going to show you. They gave us the okay. We're actually going to show you what they took that to mean. The two parking lots. Remember, Once Upon a While has a parking lot, but way back in a Newsweek article there was a different parking lot. Right, Kpro?
Hmm.
All right. Okay. So, do we just want to show it and read it?
Sure. I will say, well, I won't have a lot to say. Mike, you drive the ship.
You will say what? You will say
Okay.
what?
Well, okay, so Slednick says, why do you all consider something said by someone else to be a clue? Because this book is not written by someone random. Forrest Fenn wrote this book and included Douglas Preston. This is my opinion, and I might be wrong. I don't see Douglas Preston the same as
A normal searcher.
a
Right.
random searcher. So for me, the Douglas Preston 2 parking lots, Forrest had to approve this forward before it was put in. He had to know of the discrepancy. So in my opinion, the discrepancy means something, even though there might be some clarifications coming in an upcoming documentary that might say something that confirms or denies this. But in general, I do believe that there's just something here. And we have at least 3-4 months. What else do we have to talk about? So
Corey,
that's
what's
just
IIRC? But I thought, I guess we need to grab the book because what I thought Douglas said is that he said Forrest said it was the final.
Uh-oh.
What?
You need to reboot your machine. No, okay, hold on.
Ah,
Okay,
there
hold
was
on.
a Zoom
I'm going to
update
get.
today. All right, you going
I
to
don't
grab it?
care. I'm going to
Okay.
grab my book.
Okay. Yeah, I thought no, Jim, I don't think Douglas knows where the chest is, and I don't think Kpro knows where the chest is either. But if I remember right, what he said was that Forrest said the final clue would be where they found his car in the Denver parking lot. That's in Once Upon a While. You guys can take that for what it's worth. I mean, you can believe
Okay,
it, you
I'm going
cannot
downstairs
believe
for a
it.
second. It's still in my bag from.
Oh,
Santa
hang on,
Fe.
I got it right here. I'll grab it. I have it right over here, and it's not the new ones we have aren't in plastic, so I'll grab it. You talk to him.
Okay, because mine, I happened to bring it to Santa Fe, where we were interviewing, a couple of people. Douglas,
So Jim
Forrest.
asked, "Do you think Douglas knows where the chest is?" To Kpro, he asked you that.
I was taking a breath to
I didn't know you heard
determine
me.
my
All
answer.
right.
I sure did. Jim S., do you think he knows where the treasure chest is? I think there has to be something more to it. Here's one of the questions that I asked is, you saw a previous version of the poem. When you say that it was too simple and he needed to revise it, unless you know where the treasure chest is, how do you know it's too simple? And he had an answer. I'm still digesting whether. I don't know.
I don't think Douglas knows where the chest is, but I think Douglas might have some inside information. I'll put it that way. Okay, preface. Where's it at?
It's hard to tell. I will say, out of anyone that has potential information, I think he is.
There it is, right here.
Suspect.
Sorry.
No,
Page
go ahead.
6. Page 6 of the foreword. The final clue, he said, meaning Forrest. The final clue, he said, would be where they found his car in the parking lot of the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. So the final clue would be the 10th clue because there's 9 clues in the poem. Boom, in your face, whoever said that. Yeah, so that's why we called it the 10th clue. Because Douglas says that Forrest told him the final clue, and that's why we give it credence, and that's why we're talking about it. Right? Would you agree with that, Christy?
Yeah, I don't think. Do you think it is the one that's going to break everything loose? Foot raise. Oh my gosh. No, but do I think it's interesting enough that we need to hear from different people? And I will say we did give an opportunity if the person that wanted to come forward and actually come on the show. We would do a lot of pre-screening though. And that person, and we say they because we don't know if it's a he or she. I think it's a he. Mike doesn't know. We don't want to say he because the lead searcher might be a she. I know that's important to somebody or some people. So we just got enough information and said, hey, we were in HEK. I will say this person, I think, forwarded it to me about a week ago when we all heck broke loose on the with so many people with Adam on, and I got so many emails that night, it kind of fell through the cracks. I was in HEK last night. He or she said, I'm going to forward it again. And I said, if you do, if you're willing to share. And then Mike did a double, like, are you sure? And yeah, so why not see something new? You know what? This is what I don't think. I don't think anything that anybody puts out is going to be like, oh, that means go directly here, go. I think it might spark something that makes you go here, that makes you go there, that makes you go over here that you've never been. And you used to be over here on this, and now you're over here. And it just maybe sparks something, and then you find the treasure chest, or you whatever. You have a new solve or whatever. So that's all. That's all I got.
Ord says, I don't think Forrest would tell someone the clue. Why would he do that? I do not think he would. Well, you don't know. Maybe you don't know the relationship of Douglas Preston with Forrest Fenn. They were friends way back when, and Forrest, when he came up with hiding the treasure chest, actually wanted Douglas Preston to write the memoir because Forrest thought he was going to die of cancer. So after he died, he wanted Douglas to write this thing and publish it. So,
and you're going to hear so much more about that. It's really fascinating, and Mike McGarity and why it didn't happen. And then many people know the codex from Douglas, but they don't know Riptide. They don't know some other things that are happening with Douglas. So it's awesome. Denise, I will say we do not have an official guest. We have an official guest information and documents that they wanted to share. So there you have it. And hold on, I saw somebody that I've been chitty chatting with. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go?
How you doing, Joel Dunn? Thanks everybody for joining us tonight.
I lost it. I know who. Oh, there it is. Reseller Man. I know who you are. Yes. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, and Czar is in the house. Czar is the nicest human being on earth.
Scream New Mexico, he says.
Scream New Mexico. I actually wanted you guys every time you walked by the camera, bringing the Chaseopoly, you guys made like 42 trips from the car. I wanted you to say, damn Kpro, damn Kpro. I don't think you did at all. So I appreciate that. So, okay, so we're going to go over the 10th clue.
Searcher's interpretation of the 10th clue, right?
Searcher's interpretation of the 10th clue. We may ad lib to it. We may add a little something. I'm more ornery than Mike on most days. We are going to talk about the documentary quote that I talked about last time. We didn't forget about it. We will talk to that after 10th clue hard-hitting content. We're going to talk about the new series that I've been doing, which is me and a searcher, which is Show the Poem to a Child. And then we're just going to briefly say, here's when's Detroit and here's when's World Series Fenn. Many people have been asking me. So there you have it.
All right.
Oh my gosh, do we have Rodney Greenway?
Yeah, Rodney I saw him in there. How you doing, Rodney?
Okay, a late Happy Veterans Day. I know you're not a veteran yet. I think you're still active, but I want to say happy service day. You'll be a veteran one day. And
no, you're a veteran even if you're active duty.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's the same.
It's the same? Okay.
If you have served or are serving, you're a veteran, yes.
Okay, I thought a veteran meant that's like in your past.
Right.
It's not your active. No. Okay, so I apologize to that. Rodney, happy Veterans Day. I just wanted to say hi, Rodney, and I, adore all service people. So thank you for being here. Okay.
All right.
Did your interview clue come out? No, Tom Sawyer, we were waiting for you to be here, and we're waiting until the end because the hard-hitting content is 10th clue and a searcher's interpretation of the 10th clue. Okay.
All right. Well, here we go. Let's show it. So let me do a little share screen so Kpro can see it. And there it is. You can see that, right?
Boom. There we go.
Okay. Or you read it. You read it.
Okay. So I want to tee this up a little. He said okay to me, but did he say okay to you that I could say his handle?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so those of you that know Blue Fox, he did not want to be on, but he did want to get some information out. So this came from him, and we're going to share exactly what he said, which I thought was interesting. I'll go back. There's like 8 people that put it in at Kpro. I'm going to go back to that after I read this. No, I do not believe Roll Tide and Preston are the same person, and I can almost guarantee it. But okay. Mystery of Forrest final 10th clue and the 2 parking lots. And there's some
Sounds
pictures.
like
So
a
I'm
Hardy
going
Boys mystery. All right, go
to
ahead.
on 10/26/19, Kpro posted on the Hint of Riches forum, hintofriches.com, the following question, which puzzles her: why 2 parking lots by Douglas Preston? I'm going to go on a little side note a couple times here. This is one of the questions I knew I was going to ask Douglas. There was also 3 other postings that I said, if you were going to ask Forrest or Douglas anything, what would you ask? And nobody really took me serious, which is really disappointing because that was going to be what I teed up on many of the questions that I had for the interview. You had no way of knowing that, but that was the reason. In the foreword to Once Upon a While, Douglas Preston tells us, quote, the final clue, he said, would be where they found his car, in the parking lot of the Denver Museum of Natural Science. But I can't see behind that, Mike.
But
You have to go down.
There you go.
I can't
But
see it.
previously, in an article from Newsweek, Doug Preston had said that the location, I'll finish this one. Doug Preston had said that the location where they would find Forrest's car would be the Northern Arizona University. So why the 2 parking lots? What could possibly connect the 2?
I think at this time I have the answer. In Scrapbook 212, Forrest showed us the bronze, which resides outside the Denver Museum of Natural Science adjacent to the parking lot. This is the photo on the right, Grizzly's last stand.
That's this one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not the right to me, that's the left, but that's okay. Which was forged in 1930. He pointed out that, quote, as the kids climb and reach to their hands as the most beautiful patina in the country, the above, Mike, you're going to have to take it because you moved it so I can't read it.
Oh, sorry. In Scrapbook 212, Forrest showed us the bronze, which resides outside the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, adjacent to the parking lot. This is the photo, Grizzly's last stand, which was forged in 1930. He pointed out that as high as the kids climb and reach with their hands, it has the most beautiful patina in the county, and above where they can touch, it's dull and lackluster. Forrest Fenn, Scrapbook 212. Notice that the patina on the Grizzly is taken on a bluish green tinge, and the head of the Grizzly is more dull than shiny with some brown remaining. Okay, so that was his that was about Scrapbook 212. Now to the mystery of the Northern Arizona University parking lot. I believe it is no coincidence that a bronze with a bluish green patina also resides outside the university near the parking lot. It is shown in the picture on the left, which is really the right. This is Louis the Lumberjack, who is the mascot of NAU. He was installed in 1968. Notice the patina is not as striking as that of the Grizzlies as that on the Grizzlies' last stand. Forrest may have decided that the patina on the Grizzly was a better example of what weathering could do to a bronze chest. So Louis the Lumberjack, and yeah, these are switched. Louis the Lumberjack's on the right, Grizzly's last stand is on the left. Now, why did he say that this was the final clue? Because you might have solved the other 9 clues in order for this to be useful. This is a clue for someone who is in the area where the chest is and actively looking for a bronze box. Is this also the answer to the mystery of Forrest's coded words, which were in Jenny Kyle's book and her website, Mysterious Writings? The answer to the coded words was, if you were in the right spot, something you probably haven't thought about should be obvious to you. Well, will it be obvious that the chest is not brown? So he's saying, how much difference can color make in the chase? So basically, he's saying through the 2 parking lots, the 2 statues in the 2 parking lots, Forrest is trying to tell us that the bronze chest, which has been out there for 9 years, is going to be weathered. It's no longer going to be bronze. The patina is going to change. You want to weigh in, Kpro, or you want me to finish reading the rest?
So it's kind of greenish, is what Tony Rusi says. Keep going. Keep going.
Right, greenish, right. In Eric Sloane's book, Camouflage Simplified, he explains how to make a haystack invisible. There are 4 important factors to consider. With the reduction in differences in color, texture, shape, and shadow between it and its background, we can make the haystack approach invisibility. That's Eric Sloane's book, Camouflage Simplified, page 35. It's likely that Forrest also considered these factors. Which chest is harder to find in the picture below? This might seem a non-clue to some because it will only help you if you have already solved the 9 clues, but it seems to be important to Forrest. So I think it was important to share. It would be a shame, after all, to be so close to the chest and yet not find it, wouldn't it? So basically, he's saying, look, if you're out here in the wilderness, and this is hidden or this is hidden, the two different colors, which one would be easier to find? This would be harder to find. So he thinks the statues in the two parking lots are what Forrest was trying to get at, and that he's trying to make us realize that the chest is not going to have this color anymore. It's going to be weathered with age, and bronze is going to, I don't know if oxidize is the right word, but the bronze color is going to change. So what do you think? And right there, he's got a side by side, which is interesting.
I think this goes to, and I might be wrong, but tell me if I am, Mike. Wasn't it Chris Jones that did the video of if you were walking down this path, you could be within a few feet, not even realize it because it has some pine needles or whatever. And he like walks down like a 10-foot path and he like walks by it and he's like, okay, where was it, guys? And I replayed that son of a gun 20 times and it was like, I don't see it. And then he's like, it's right here. And it was like, it was right there. I think this is similar to that. But here's what I think. I'm going to go with Tom Sawyer. If we find the blaze, would this even matter? I think if we have WWWA, we have Canyon, if we've gone to not far but too far to walk, if we Homer all the way through, blaze, you look quickly down, I think that bad boy's right there. And it's if you're within 12 feet, it's going to be so obvious to you. You've got it. Just run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when you find the blaze, you look down and there it is. Well, aside from the two parking lots, whether that was what Forrest was trying to convey, does anybody know if the bronze chest is going to change color after being out there for 9 years?
Oh, 3D, where are you? 3D bronze, where are you? My God, we need you.
Is it going to change? Does anybody know if, yes, that will definitely change color? Or somebody said copper, or I'm sorry, somebody said bronze does not oxidize. Is there anybody out there like Copper Dan who might know for once and for all? Even though it's bronze, not copper, but.
Well, okay, and so Rodney thinks it is what it is that said it. Whoever it is, I think it has been put out there. I agree with you. DeBear says draw a line between Arizona parking lot and Colorado parking lot, and it goes through Buena Vista, which is Spanish for good view. Emoji.
Yeah. Okay.
And I do have to tell you, rabbit hole. I might have mapped the two. I might have drawn on Google Maps. I might have tried to draw a second X with 90-degree angles, the same line.
Using the two parking lots?
Absolutely. The two parking lots mean something. Forrest and Douglas. Let's see. Rascal and Maverick. Do you remember? Do you remember? Yeah. I think there's more there, personally. Oh, 3D bronze. The clues will lead you to the treasure, and whether you buried it or not, you can find it if you can find the blaze as a result of the starting of the first clue. That's what you have to do, F. 3D bronze, where did that come from?
Mark Connor's got a very good point. Well, I could say this too. Mark Connor says, you would think if it's really from the 16th century, wouldn't it be green to start with? In other words, wouldn't it have already oxidized? So the question is, me having it in my house or in a museum, would that change the color, or is it only it being out in the Rocky Mountains? Would that change the color?
Billy Price said the same thing.
I don't know, and I don't know the answer. I don't know if being out in the Rocky Mountains makes it change color or not.
William says, I have a Fenn's bronze statue that was made in the 60s, and it's the same patina. Patina is coating. Actual bronze isn't exposed. Okay, so does that mean it's is it green?
Well, does the treasure chest have a coating on it, or is it just the bronze? I don't know.
No, I think it has a coating. I think yes. It's a whole process.
Non-ferrous metals will only tarnish patina if they are above ground. So if that's the case, then yes. If it's below ground, no. But color wouldn't matter anyways, and yes, it should be patina already.
Okay, so I'm a redneck. I don't got 12 kids, but I got a pickup truck. You guys have gone beyond come on. Like, are we down a rabbit hole too far? That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I see. So Sunroper says a patina are chemicals which are applied to the bronze when heated. Different chemicals yield various colors. Kids' hands on the bronze will rub it down to the bare metal. We did go down a rabbit hole here.
Yeah, this is called Mike totally ignoring me and keeping going. And that's fine because I have the mom voice. My kids do it too. Mike does it too. I'm going to just keep going. And that's
All
fine.
right. What does everybody think? Is the treasure chest right now, wherever it is in the Rocky Mountains, is it the same color as the pictures we've seen, or is it a different color? Put yes or no. Do you think it's the same color as the picture that Forrest has shown? Yes or
okay. Or can we add a third?
no? Yeah.
Yes, no, or who cares?
Yeah, that's fine. But what we're trying to decide is do you think the color has changed or not? You could say that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what color it is. If you find the blaze, you're going to find the chest. I get that part.
Okay.
But I'm just
Okay.
wondering
So two
if when
different
somebody,
questions. Okay.
yeah, when somebody finds it, is it the same color as when Forrest showed it?
Okay.
Or
So
is it a
same
new
color? No, no, no. Different color? Same? No. Probably slight green? No. And now you know G.I. Joe. Steve Klein, you're hilarious. Yes, no, no, no. Who cares? Oh, thank Corey Jacobs, you're my hero.
You got a who cares.
Who cares? Jim, and put a lot of S's. I love Jim.
Hey Jay, there's no bridges made out of bronze. You would know. Well, maybe we're confusing bronze and copper.
This is what he's doing. He did this.
Yeah, which I thought meant I don't care or don't know. The Statue of Liberty is made out of, is it copper? Is that why it turned green? The Statue of Liberty, when it was hauled over from France, was not green, right? Somebody back me up on this. But I don't know what the Statue of Liberty was made out of. Is it made out of copper? Is it made out of bronze?
Terry from Texas, different color, but I don't think it matters. I'm sorry. I'm beyond my ability to.
Everybody, what color's the blaze? Put it in the chat. What color do you think the blaze is? And will it change over time?
What color is your Homa brown?
Copper. So I think they're saying the Statue of Liberty was made out of copper, and I think it's copper that oxidizes to green. I don't think that's the case with bronze, but I don't know. I don't know that for sure. So, all right, yeah, Statue of Liberty is made out of copper. Okay, we got that. Just like a copper penny. Have you ever seen a copper penny that's real old and it's greenish, like left outside? I have. But this is bronze, so maybe that does not matter. I don't know. That's the question. The bronze in the chest is compiled of about 10% tin and 90% copper. What? I thought bronze was its own metal.
No, bronze is a compound.
Oh, well, then it is mostly copper. Then it would turn green. If it's 90% copper, then wouldn't it turn green?
That's why the question of the iron key was so important that no one wants to talk about.
What question?
Nothing.
What about the key?
Nothing.
The color of the key?
No, the makeup of the key. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Well, the key is in the chest, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't understand what the question is.
It doesn't matter. No, we're on this fascinating subject of patina. This one, even though I was up for it, my goodness, we're off our rockers.
Well, Blue Fox was trying to make a connection between the statues and the two parking lots. And maybe that's why Forrest brought up the two parking lots so that we could figure out. And that's why that was the final clue.
But this is what I love about what he says. I love the two statues. I just don't believe it's the patina. I don't know what it is, so I'm not knocking Blue Fox. And Blue Fox, you put your stuff out there. You might not put your face out there. We don't care. We want to hear your stuff. We put it out there. It's awesome. But for me...
Chicken Hawk says I'm in the doghouse now.
Oh, yeah. Like that's a unique thing. But I think there's something there. There's something like he just said. There's something that I actually think... I'll just throw it out there. Hi, Stacy. I think it might be a donation made to each of the places, and we've got to figure it out in some way, like his bronzes or something. I don't know. Because it was Sasha that did a show probably a year ago or more. I don't even remember, where she found a donation at one of them. I think it was the Northern Arizona University. She did a video on it, and it was so good because it was there. It was simple. That's like, keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. We've got to kiss. I'm kissing all of you. No, we've got to keep it simple, because this seems too complicated. You need to know about patinas, then you have to do blah blah blah.
Blue Fox is in the chat, so thank you for the email, Blue Fox. And Blue Fox brings up a good point that Rodney Greenway brought up, and that is the color will only change if it's exposed to air. Which means, if this is true, if Forrest is trying to say you're looking for a bluish green, not a bronze color, that means it's not buried. because it's exposed to the air. If it was buried, it would not change color. So that's just a theory. Right. But he's saying this, if this is true, if this is correct, then that means it's not buried. So I think that's interesting. But 3D Bronze had a cool one as well. Pretty interesting. The final clue, which is the statue in the Denver Museum at the parking lot, was going to be a lumberjack, just like in the last image in the book. So he's saying, what a coincidence. Is it more than a coincidence? The Thrill of the Chase, the lumberjack with all the trees cut down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's in the...
Okay.
And this, yeah, right. That's a good point, which I never considered. And the statue that's in the Denver Museum is also of a lumberjack. So could that be the final clue? Lumberjack. We're supposed to think of somehow, some way. And who's the biggest lumberjack of them all? Literally.
No, we already know from the
Literally
secret information.
What? Oh,
the
right.
secret information. Joel Lewicki asked the question of why is this important? Do you remember? He got the secret information. It's an environmental statement.
Forrest
this is a statement about the environment.
Was trying to say there's not going to be any trees left if we keep cutting everything down. Yeah.
That's his legacy.
Did anybody catch it? Who's the biggest Minotaur Moreno says F was a lumberjack. I don't know about that. Was he? I know Shiloh is with all the trees. He does all that flooring and all that stuff.
The Axeman.
Yeah, it's Shiloh. No, don't go there. Who is the biggest lumberjack? Yeah, Paul Bunyan. Thank you, Treasure Hunter. Somebody got it. Anyway. All right. Well, that's interesting. Is it buried? Is it not buried? Will the color change? Will the color be the same? If it's not buried, the color will change. Now, I agree that all we need to find is the blaze. It doesn't matter what color the chest is.
I was going to say, I'm kitchen sink Kevin. I love all of it. No, I can't do it. Yes, I'm that person.
You sure you're not Camille? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I just meant
those
guy,
of you,
girl.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're doing. For those of you that think they call me chronic jumpers, I've been in this hunt now going on 4 or 5 years. I have 4 solves. Once a year is not, and one of them was for someone else, and one I just picked up, but I average about 18 months. If that's a serial jumper to you, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. I'm going to be I'll be a Kevin Camille, and maybe I'm a marriage of those two. I don't know.
Well, Minotaur Moreno says one summer Forrest was a lumberjack on, wait for it, Rumbaugh Creek, right where we were at, Kpro.
There you
go.
Richard
McKeever says he did cut trees as a teenager.
We walked right by it.
Steve says someone said the axe is the clue. Well, I don't know how the axe could be a clue, though, because we're looking for a cut in a rock, like a cleft or something. I don't know. The axe is a clue. Why? Because of Sloan's. What does Sloan have to do with it? Eric Sloan. Forrest cleared trees, hence he was a lumberjack. Okay. Color will change if it's buried. Look at bronze artifacts from the Bronze Age, almost solid green patina. All right, 3D bronze. Well, I guess that kills that theory then. I guess the color will change whether it's buried or not. I don't know.
I'm with William. Yawn. I'm yawning.
Maybe they meant because of Eric Sloan. Well, but that's what we do, guys. Adam had his own point of view. Blue Fox has his point of view. We have different theories on. That's what we do. Some are crazy.
Wait a minute.
One of them just might be the right one, right?
As much as we hold an opportunity for people to give their thoughts, we have an opportunity for people to give their thoughts on those thoughts. Though I want to say I very much appreciate Blue Fox. Now he's asking a simple question. What's the color? And the color actually would be important if you are going boots on the ground. We're going into rabbit holes. I mean, this is, you guys know how Mike is. He goes down every little rabbit hole.
Well, Redneck Express gets the cookie. I'm borrowing a cookie, AJ. He says axe marks the spot. Get it? Axe marks the spot.
Okay. Did you see my last video with my son? Ta-da.
Yeah, right. That was pretty good.
And then he usually does, and I'm here all night,
Right. So Aaron Frazier says lumberjacks chop down trees. So therefore, the treasure chest is by a downed tree. All right. Hello, Andre. Thanks for joining us, everybody. That's pretty funny, though. There's a cookie. There's AJ's cookie.
Okay. My goodness gracious. Okay. So are there any other thoughts on, I do like the idea of we've got to dive into the 2 parking lots. When you hear some really cool quotes that you will see in the documentary, that's going to be another one. The dove in the nest on the moon is a hint, Richard says.
Partridge in a pear tree.
Okay, maybe.
Maybe.
The color, okay, tell us what it is, Richard. The color probably matches the scenery, Kiwi says. Okay, maybe. Jim says, let's talk about how much you think Douglas knows about the hidey spot.
I don't think Douglas knows where the chest is hidden. It's just my personal opinion. Because Forrest has said two can keep a secret if one of them's dead. So I think that means nobody else but Forrest knows. Just my opinion. What do you think, Christy?
I think Douglas knows more than he lets on.
Well, then I think Douglas knows more than he lets on as well. I just don't know if he actually.
Let me
knows
ask you
the
this:
location.
do you think he knows the general location?
He might know the state. That's true.
I think he knows the general location, and I have no reason to know.
Well,
Nothing he said that. He said the opposite. It's not what they say; it's what they whisper. And he whispered right after. I don't know.
Right.
He didn't. Whisper,
Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
So that's Blue Fox's theory on the two parking lots and the 10th clue. So thank you, Blue Fox, for sending it in. Anybody else out there, if you have a theory you want us to present, but you don't want to actually come on the show, you can email it to us. I'm not guaranteeing we're going to show it, but definitely send it, and me and Kpro will decide what we put on. So.
Yeah. So after the Adam interview, I had about 20 people like, why aren't you putting this or why aren't you putting that? We would like to get a little bit more than just throwing something. I kind of have the idea once we get the soundboard going. What about if we said WWWH or Homer Brown or 10th Clue, the parking lots, and we had people call in only on that subject, not their whole solve, just only on that subject. And then we got 10 or 20 different ideas. I thought that would be cool. I don't know.
Alan K says, in Douglas's new book, Old Bones, the character has a horse named Blaze, and they're looking for a chest full of gold hidden in a rocky cliff alcove. That's pretty funny. I didn't read his new
just
book.
wait till his next book, which is about a treasure hunt in White Plains.
The Vicario Peak? Vicario Peak? That treasure legend. Yeah. Pretty cool stuff.
He's all about the treasures. But, well, you know what the hardest thing for me? Let's get this documentary out because I'm not good at keeping a secret.
Yeah, you can't.
And there's,
all Kpro's going to do is tease it from now till June of next year.
It's not teasing. I want to say it, and then I stop myself because it's just, okay. Okay, so
that's the question, Tony. How did Douglas know? Exactly. That is the question we're trying to get answered. Yeah. He says, how does Douglas know it was too easy?
That question.
No. But he's saying, did we? I think he means, did me and you see the earlier version of the poem? Of course not. I think that's what he means.
Didn't even know any of this.
Right.
Okay. So let me go into the documentary. I got a yes.
No, Deborah Jensen said there's a battle axe in Colorado state seal. So the axe is the hint. There's a battle axe. That means it's in Colorado. See how the different ways we put things together? It's like Legos. You know what I mean? We all create different things with the 10 Legos that we have.
And some of us just throw Legos on the ground to be little spears of death into people's feet.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
Okay. So, I'm going to be a little bit better in the future. I will tell you, I said on the last show, like, oh, I'm going to bring some hard-hitting quote or a clip. So here's the thing. I just got my hands on the raw footage today. I have been tasked with the documentarian to start to bring it. We're now transcribing, and we are now going into the storyline pieces. I cannot bring, so there will be some official trailers and some official teasers, trailers, whatever the right terminology is, documentary. There's a process to this. I don't want to jeopardize anybody professionally. So I don't even have it, even if I wanted to, even though I keep alluding to it. The documentary quote, I do want to be honest with a quote that I asked. It's okay that I bring out something that I asked. I won't say whether it was answered, etc. And we're going to pull back a little bit from I'm going to pull back a little bit from, oh, this and oh, that, just like every documentarian can do. I've gotten so many responses for the searcher portion. Though I appreciate everybody's responses, we're going to have to build that story in the next week or two. So I don't think we're at a point that we need many more. If you do have something of interest, still please email me. But it's been more overwhelming. I know we can only get 3 or 4 in. We're over 30 at this point of substantial stories, very unique, interesting stories. And they have to pair to the Douglas interview and the Forrest interview. So tonight I will not have an exact quote or a video because it's just not possible at this point. I just got the video like 5 hours ago. And so now it's taking that next step and putting it all together. So that's what I wanted to say about the documentary portion. 2 other pieces. Okay, what do we want to talk about next? Do we want to talk about the series I'm doing with David? Do we want to talk about Detroit? Do we want to talk about World Series of Fenn? What do you want to talk about, Michael?
Yeah, we can talk about the videos with David. Do you want me to actually show them or no? Or do you just want to talk about what you put up so
You
far?
can. Let's talk a little bit about the documentary because people are asking. William, doing the documentary, did you learn anything as a searcher instead of an interviewer? William, in my opinion, yes.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, because you guys went crazy. I did not push. I was in interview mode. I did not push the interviewee too hard. Oh my gosh. Mike, it's so funny because Mike, the nice guy, the nice guy, he went hard hitting.
I
And
asked the question that needed to be asked. That's
from
all
a searcher standpoint,
From
that
a
was not my
searcher,
role.
Right.
My role
Right.
was a searcher, was a documentarian, and I did not want him walking out of the room. And you actually didn't even get it. You tried to ask 5 different ways. Anyway, so
Forrest is sneaky. So a couple people have asked about the Foyer. Do you want to make a statement about the Foyer or no?
yeah, and I
Okay.
made this maybe 2 months ago. The Foyer was in the last step. I got some additional feedback. I've decided not to pursue the FOIA at this time. It is, from what I understand, available. It was a joint raid between BLM and FBI. It is not something that I am looking to pursue, and that can be verified. Someone, from what I understand, that verified the content or the you can actually become a part of the FOIA when you get the FOIA of who has gotten this. I did go through all the way through the background check. They do a are you a terrorist background check. I did go through all of that.
Are you a terrorist?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
you
don't
mean
let
like
anybody like do a FOIA. You have to say why, etc. The FOIA was not a part of. Yeah, so I won't say I've abandoned it. It is not something I'm pursuing at this time because of some additional feedback that I've gotten. So things evolve over time, and that's where it's at right now. How do you like that?
So we're letting it go. Is that what I'm hearing?
At this time, we are letting it go.
Okay.
And when things change, they can always change back, or they can always be different. I know of I know second and third hand of some people that have the FOIA. So if there's not a lot of there, then why make any ruckus? I personally, I'm going to put my personal opinion. I don't like the idea that a couple of searchers have something that other searchers don't, but for other reasons, I'm just going to let things calm, and it's not that big of a deal. It's just not. There's not a lot of there, so let's just leave it alone at this point. But any other questions on the documentary before we go into the new series I'm doing, the World Series and Detroit Meetup?
All right. So I'm going to show the YouTube channel, and you can talk about the videos you've made with David. Okay.
Yeah. So my little guy, I call him Mr. Man. His name's David, and someone called him Kpro, and I love that. So he's Kpro, I'm Kpro. I will tell you, and since this is embedded enough, he will not see it. I love it, Kpro. And here's the thing: a lot of people ask me, like, why am I Kpro? That was actually my handle I'm a professor. It is not because I think I'm a professional treasure hunter. I'm a professor. So the pro came from that, nothing more. It was just literally like a title at my job. And I used it for something else, and that was the email reason. So it's nothing, but I love that the Kpro thing. He's an incredibly shy little guy. This is bringing him out of his shell in a big way.
So as far as the poem, I see 1, 2. Nope. Okay. As far as the poem, okay, with David, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos so far, right? Okay. So this is the Hint of Riches YouTube channel, guys. This is what we're going to be going live on for a little while. We're at 703 subscribers. If everybody that's watching could hit the subscribe button and thumbs up this video. You see this number right here in the middle. That's actually the live subscriber count. So we're at 703 right now. So thanks for everybody that has subscribed.
Yeah, so one of the things, so what we're doing is 2 different things. We're doing a series on just treasure hunting in general, if you're a kiddo. He did a top 5 things he would give to parents that take their kids out, like make sure they have food, make sure they have fun time. You know, kids melt more quickly. He does. He's a super, super skinny kid that has to eat all the time. I wish I had his metabolism.
That was
That was
me
one
when I
thing.
was a kid. That was me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he does things like that. But we've done this new series called Show the Poem to a Kid. And did he say Homer Brown is dirt? Yes, he did. Because that's what a kid would say. I don't think a kid's going to completely solve it, but I am not prepping him. So he went through the first video, WWWH Canyon. He did the second video, which was Too Far to Walk and Homer Brown. And you get to hear a little bit about him and things like he was excited about having flannel pajamas. He did flannel pajamas because you know what? He's a
Excited
kid.
about what? You cut out for a minute.
Flannel pajamas.
Oh,
I
right
mean,
here. It's the
'cause-
video I. Yeah. Okay.
yes, because he's a
So
kid and it's fun and
I
it's
would.
only. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say I would invite everybody to go to these videos that have David in them. One, thumbs them up, but leave a comment because David does read the comments, right? So if you have a comment, a positive comment for David and Kpro, leave that in the videos.
Yeah.
Or does he
So
not
we've.
look at the comments?
So here's what we do because there are some human beings on Earth that don't care who they are and they will leave negative comments. We no longer do anything on Reddit in relation to my son because they are horrible human beings. And the second is I read all the comments before he does. And I will delete any of the horrible human beings that think attacking a mom I thought was pretty bad, but attacking a 10-year-old is even worse. You suck at life. And that's what I have to say to you. And so I will make sure to delete, and there's only a few. They're pretty consistent, and then we ban from the channel. And then it's super cool because he gets something like, there he is. He's so into, he can see himself. But here is a kid that is just starting to get to, it's okay to have a voice. It's okay to, he's going to talk about some other things eventually,
Right.
but he's just having fun. He's so shy. He's painlessly shy. His teachers say he's painlessly shy. So for him to actually talk on camera has been super, super awesome.
Top 5 hints for you making the boots on the ground fun for kids. And I will just say what's awesome is these videos are going to be here 30 years from now. You and David and your grandchildren are going to be able to watch these videos, Christy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Which is the whole reason I started making mine for my kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we could make joint ones between our kids.
Yeah.
And then wouldn't it be cool, just like we have a ladies panel, if things keep going positive, and I will say it's about 95% positive. I hate to concentrate on the 5 or 10% that are negative. Wouldn't it be cool to have like a searcher panel of kids and they debate certain things or something? I don't know. I just think it would be fun. So right now it's been going so positive. And so thank you, those of you. I just got an announcement from my UPS store that I need to go.
That might be what I sent you. You never know.
Oh my gosh, he just gets so.
Send David something appropriate in the mail. Send him either toys or send him something treasure hunting related. Would be awesome.
Oh, he's so into treasure hunting. That's all. I mean, that Swiss Army knife. Oh my gosh, Jim.
He needs a hat. He needs a treasure hunting hat. You decide what hat that is. Rodney Greenway says, Kpro, read what I wrote about Brown. He could be right. Well, there you go. Forrest has said, show the poem to a child, right?
Yeah, he did. And you know what? He just keeps it really simple. And it's like, I mean, some of the things, so we want to go through the poem first. Those of you that laugh a little, he said, you're doing so many other things, Mom. It's time to get back to the poem. So I actually said to him, are we getting back to the poem? He's like, it's about time. And it's just funny. He's like reprimanding me like Forrest does, like, get back to the poem. So anyway. So
Christopher Robbins says Moore's law may intercede. Anyone got a Betamax? My friend in high school had a Betamax, and we made videos on a Betamax. What he's saying is YouTube may not be around in 30 years, but whatever the format is, we will upload these videos to the new format. But I think YouTube
still has
will
an
be around
8-track.
forever.
My dad still has an 8-track. Just saying. And I remember having to go over and click. I mean, it's just okay. So,
but yeah, I think let's see, Monday's video. I think we get back to the poem. Let's just go straight straight on the poem and the clues and what they could mean. So okay, so yeah, that's David and Kpro, the Hint of Riches. It's the channel you're watching right now. So hit subscribe because you never know when she's gonna make some new videos.
And Czar asked, when will the treasure hunt begin for Chaseopoly?
So Oh, actually, Czar, I have it. I can give it to you. I mailed out 23 Chaseopolis today. The treasure hunt is in the game. It wasn't ready when I gave you your game. So just let me know. I'll come over as soon as this is done and I'll give it to you. Um, if you get Chaseopoly, the Thrill of the Chase board game, there's going to be a separate piece of paper. There's actually two separate pieces of paper, but I'm not going to talk about the one. The one is a grand adventure, which is a puzzle. And when you get that piece of paper, you got to figure out what to do. You'll see. I don't think it's terribly hard. I showed it to Kpro. She thought it was horrible. She's like, I'm not doing that. So it's just if you like codes or puzzles or ciphers or whatever. So everybody who orders the
aren't those
game will
great?
get one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody
super
who orders
ciphers.
one will get one. But
My 10-year-old said, I'll do it if Mike makes me, but do I really have to do this?
well, he
That's
doesn't
how
have the
exciting
board
it
though.
was.
So yeah, I can't expect him
Yeah,
to do
that's
it.
true. That
When
is
you
true.
get your game at the Detroit meetup, I expect him to do it when you get back. But
Yeah, and so William said whoever gets their Chaseopoly first is your favorite. No, I don't get mine till Detroit. I'm Mike's favorite. I don't care what you say. Okay.
And then
got it.
some people may be thinking, well, somebody gets Chaseopoly first, they have a head start. There's a way that's going to make it fair for everybody as far as the grand adventure. You'll see when you get it in the mail. You'll see when you figure out what the page is when you get it in the mail. Put it that way. But yeah, let me know, Czar. I can drop you off the actual grand adventure.
Okay, so Laura and Jim asked the exact same question.
What?
Of any thoughts on the YouTube post from You Shop We Ship about Forrest Fenn saying no need to read the book? I think he has been clear in the past that it is not a necessity. The book is no, I have not watched it all the way through. I do really, really like, if you guys have not watched You Shop We Ship, he or she actually brings clips from Forrest. So you get to hear it from him. It's not like us that kind of says, oh, Forrest said something like this. Does a lot of more work on that channel and actually gets the clips. Those clips tell you what Forrest has actually said. Forrest has actually said, you don't, that's why we have poem purists out there. They don't believe you need TTOTC because it distracts you. So, because they give you subtle hints. Some people think the
I'll
poem's
say it.
straightforward.
Let me think about that. I'll say it this way: if I was to present a geometry problem, right? This A plus B equals question mark whatever. If I was to give some long geometry problem, I could say everything you need to know is in that problem. Solve it. Except if you don't know geometry, you also need to read a book on geometry, right? So for Forrest Fenn, he's saying all you need is the poem. But for us, in order to figure out where warm waters halt, we need to read the Thrill of the Chase. You don't agree?
This is why I don't agree.
Why?
MEH, Michael Hall, who Forrest has said is brilliant, has, I believe he has some advanced thoughts on how you crack this poem. I don't know for sure because I just watch his stuff, but I look at all of his stuff in the background. I do the same thing. I've taught junior level college statistics. I put the same crap up there. Students blaze over. They blaze. See what I did there? Blaze. I mean, they just they glaze over with their thoughts. I don't, but MEH's thoughts are, and I think he said it in chat maybe 2 weeks ago in AGK's chat, if it's readily available online, any redneck can find it. Any redneck can find it. But do you think statistics, let's just say statistical regression analysis, multivariate analysis, p-test, t-test, all of those, Mike, you are a very smart human being. You could go up, if you don't know what any of those are, and you could find a YouTube channel that absolutely walks you through that.
But how does that help find where? I don't understand what I don't understand what MEH meant by that.
That's part of the, what is specialized knowledge? Where is your line of what specialized knowledge is?
But there isn't any specialized knowledge. But
if it's available online, does that mean it's not specialized knowledge?
No, every specialized knowledge in the world is available online because everything is pretty much on the internet, right? What I'm saying is, in order to figure out what Forrest means by where warm waters halt, what Forrest means by warm water, it's got to be in the Thrill of the Chase. It's subtle, it's hard to find. We don't know what page it's on, but that's the book you have to read.
Did you just rule out Colorado, you rascal?
Because that's not in the book. No, because I think the book gives you a subtle hint on what the warm waters are, and then we figure out where they halt. They may halt in Colorado, But what my point was, when you said somebody plays videos where Forrest said you don't need to read the book, all you need is the poem. That's true. But if you can't figure out where warm waters halt, then you do need to read the book.
Well, but wait, let me throw out what my last search partner said. Poem purist. He was on the forums just more for like social more than anything. Right. I sent him the book. You know what he did? Sent that back. Bad boy back. Why? Because he said, if I can't get through 166 words in the poem, if you send me this, my mind's going to swim and I never can take this out of my mind. Thank you, but no, and send it back. I like that. That's a poem pure. Hasn't even put this to contaminate his mind. And I actually talked to Sean Dotson about that. Like, what do you say? Are you truly a poem purist? Because this is in your mind. And he basically said, he didn't use his term, he can departmentalize. And I think he's actually smart enough. Maybe he can. It affects your mind once you've seen this. You have to go down the journey that Forrest has put you on, whether you like it or not.
Well, I remember somebody said that specialized knowledge is anything you have to go to school for. So in other words, if there's a class that teaches you about it, that's specialized. Therefore, you need to go to a class to learn it. What do you think about that? I know, think about that, right?
One thing has Forrest needed to go to class for? He is so against this. Oh, trust me.
For the military, right? For a pilot, to be a pilot. He had to go to class to learn how to fly a jet fighter, right? In the military. I mean, so you could say military training, but in other words,
he doesn't like class. He doesn't like formal class.
No, I understand. And that's, in other words, for me to learn Latin, I would either have to study it online or go to a class. You don't need to know Latin to solve the poem, that type of thing. But where do warm waters
Periodic table. Periodic table.
Well, that's true. Maybe that's why we don't use the periodic table. Right. So how do we figure out what Forrest had in his mind with the warm waters and where they halt? To me, the only thing we have is the thrill of the chase. There's got to be, if there's subtle hints, it's got to be on what warm waters is or where it halts.
Do you think it's scrapbooked, Mike?
Yeah, I do not think it's scrapbooks. Yeah. Forrest probably messing with people. I don't know. I don't see.
I don't know. I will say Rodney Greenway says anything that isn't common knowledge is specialized knowledge, in my opinion. Rodney Greenway, where are your videos? I missed them. You are, in my opinion, you are spot on. For Kiwi says Forrest is specialized knowledge. No book, no Forrest, no book, no poem, no treasure, question mark.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. Jim says, I think you need the book to figure out the blaze. I don't think it can be done without it. Jim, he says differently. He says you can do it with just the poem and a map. So maybe it's easier with it, but if you can't find the blaze without TTOTC, I don't know about that. Well, Minotaur.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go. I was just going in order of.
Yeah, go ahead. Rodney Greenway says, I agree. Flying a jet is specialized knowledge. His archaeology and his art knowledge is also specialized. That's true. I mean, you could say Forrest didn't go to school to learn about art, but he figured it out as he went. I would have to go to school to learn about art, right? He's a common redneck is not going to know about Indian culture, is not going to know about archaeology, he's not going to know about art. He may know about hot springs because when you're in the Rocky Mountains, oh, look, there's water and it's warm. You can touch water and know if it's warm or not. Now, how do we figure out the one that Forrest is referencing? That's where I think the thrill of the chase comes into play.
Well, and I think an average redneck is not dumb. They're not just formally educated. That's how I take it. They're street smart. They can figure stuff out. They can make connections. That's where I see.
Jamie Rodriguez, special knowledge is subjective to the person. I like that, and I agree with it. That's true. It is. Yeah, it is.
But like Forrest said, Terry Scant, pick it up and go. Get the hell out of there. Yeah, it's literal. Minotaur Marino. F knows how to make profit in anything related to being a pilot. He has no idea about statistical analysis, in my opinion. Okay. Laura Dunlap. So then the first and last stanzas seem vital. I don't know what we said. I'm back a little ways. I don't know what we said.
Jim Sisk says, Forrest said that about where warm waters halt, but I never heard you can find the blaze with just the poem and the map. Well, you definitely have to go boots on the ground. Right. Nope. You actually have to find it. I don't think you're going to be able to figure out where it is without going boots on the ground.
The blaze? You don't think you can find the blaze?
No, I don't think so. You're not going to know where it is unless you go physically find it. I mean, you got to go look. So.
Okay. Kpro. Forrest said that about WWWH, but I never heard you can find the blaze with just the poem and the map. Okay. The only time, this came from Rodney, the only time I have is when I can live stream, but YouTube changed that to 1,000 subscribers on my channel. Wasn't going to give it up. Well, I spend nonstop. Okay, Rodney, come on over, or something. I don't know. I really liked your videos because he would just be driving home or driving wherever, and he
Right.
was like, "Hey guys, I just want to give you 5 minutes of something," and it was really cool. I really
Gypsy's
liked it.
Kiss is in the house. And Toby, we know you're not feeling well. He just said he felt like he was run over by a Chinese dump truck. Why's it got to be
Oh,
Chinese? So I hope you feel better, Toby. Thank you for the phone call earlier for the advice, too. Yeah, we hope you feel better.
I have a feeling we're not going to have Toby at 10. That's just
Right.
And all of us said, "Hey Toby, go get your little martini drink. It's honey and lemon and
Whiskey, probably.
Whiskey or something else." And I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So it'd be
Minotaur
funny
says,
if you go on at 10 with that drink and just get drunk on the live stream. That would be pretty funny, too.
Yes. F knows how to be a fishing guide, how to be a pilot, how to run a successful art business, how to be an amateur archaeologist, and Yellowstone. WWW lies somewhere within there. Okay, so Minotaur, I've actually thought about this. When I sat with him and Jason Dent, and they started talking about all the things military, and I thought, I don't even know some of these terms. Kind of like some newbies come in and they're like, what's BOTG? What's this? What's that? Kind of the same thing. I'm like, I wonder if there's something there. But when he says he's thought of everything, I think Forrest has thought of that. But is geography specialized knowledge, walking amongst lions? In my opinion, yes, because for someone that can't figure out a map to save her life, I'm figuring it out.
He said geography was the quote. Geography.
Yeah.
Well, Forrest said Forrest said a comprehensive knowledge of geography might help. Remember?
Yeah.
So geography is involved, everybody. You have to marry the clues to a map, and the only way you get to a map is to learn, geography. You got to know where things are.
It's my Achilles heel. I think he said it to me.
You got to know where the Rocky Mountains are in order to travel to them, right? So a comprehensive knowledge of geography would help. Okay.
Kata Doja 7 says, where was the poem originally published? It was published in TTOTC, and it was published on Old Santa Fe Trading Company's website with some excerpts of TTOTC when that was originally published, from what I understand.
Was the poem up there before the book came out, or was it after the book came out? Do we know? I don't know if anybody knows the answer to that.
I wasn't around.
But it would have been the same. But I think that's where the word answer and then plural answers comes from. Wasn't it on the Old Santa Fe website? It had answers, plural. Because as I look, the answer I already know. But Forrest came out and said it doesn't matter if it's singular or plural. It doesn't matter. But I thought the website.
Yeah, he talks about these little aberrations in a little interview we did as well. Richard says, Forrest has a PhD in human personalities. No, he does not, in my opinion. He could have an honorary doctorate, but I will say, not that Forrest wants to spend this time. I went to college for 16 years. I'm not going to say a formal education is different than I think Forrest has a valuable education of life. But the PhD piece, oh my God, it almost killed me. So
Laura Dunlap says, Kpro, do you think that where Warm Waters Halt has to do with its name or its geo feature? And you had to solve where it had to do with the name, Nez Pierce. And what is it that Forrest told you about that? Okay. Might as well say it. We said it a bunch of times.
Yeah, I've said it a bunch of times. So he asked me what my WWWH was, and it was like Walla Walla Wildlife Habitat. That was the name of it. WWWH. You take the first letter of each one. And he's like, well, where's your water? And I'm like, no, there's no water. It's the acronym. And he's like, well, it's Warm Waters. And I said, I didn't know waters had to be a part of it, or water had to be a part of it. And he's like, kind of looking at me like, I'm Forrest Fenn, right? But he didn't quite say that. And I said, so it has to be warm water? He's like, warm to the touch. Did you tip your toe in it? And I'm like, no, I haven't. I didn't know that was part of it. And he's like, okay, so I'm glad we're clear. I guess a PhD needs a crutch, doesn't she? And you guys heard that audio around the world.
To me, all Forrest was doing was saying, go by what the poem says. It is literal. I really think the poem's literal. Terry Scant with Marvel Gaze. Pick it up and get the hell out of there. Begin it where warm waters halt. It's physically warm water to the touch. How do we find the right one? It's got to be in a thrill of chase somewhere. But I think it's literal. I mean, heavy loads and water high. With that, and this is what I want to do Monday: is go through the poem and look at it literally. What's a heavy load? A big boulder, maybe? Big rocks, water high, waterfall. What does that mean? I mean, that's a watermark on a canyon. That those are the things I want to talk about on Monday. I think the
Yeah,
poem's
but
a lot more literal than what we make it.
yes, I know. That's why Forrest has his own rules. Yes, because I go to the Bozeman newspaper and I find an article that isn't found within the search engine that says his mother had heavy loads with making sure that the family continued with
Really?
this, that, the other. And it's like, and then I find another one about Skippy dying and the waters were too high. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's Skippy and his mom. No, it's literal. What is it? This man's too complicated.
Well, Richard McKeever says, Kpro, that was meant figuratively, not literally. What do you think, Forrest? Do you think he was just screwing around and meant it figuratively, or do you think you took it as literal?
I didn't really know if he was messing with me or not until Scott Conway had it. Scott Conway, I think we all know, has had some issues legally. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
Forrest messed with somebody that told the same thing to him, and actually Scott went and put his foot inside some water and sent it to Forrest. He did that. He showed that picture on our show. I don't think Forrest would mess with anybody that was that serious, willing to, go to jail, have charges, etc. I just don't think he would. Um,
Now,
so
Outcast Searcher wants you to link to that article about his mom. So I don't know if you have that or not.
yeah, it was up on a previous forum, Chase Chat. I'll see if I can find it. It was long ago. I know it's in a I have a binder. I did a move. I got rid of a lot of stuff, but my Forrest Fenn previous binders. Ooh, maybe I'll sell them on eBay. No, I won't.
Hmm.
But it was. I'll see if I can find it. It was. You just have to actually go through many years of. There was like an editorial review that he did. He did it a bunch of times. So.
David Orozco says, my father was in the military, and he says heavy loads is snow. Interesting. Could it be,
Okay.
now I don't think we're supposed to go in the wintertime, but could heavy loads water high mean a place that does get buried in snow in the wintertime, but we're there in the summer? That's interesting. That would be literal, wouldn't it? That would be a literal interpretation.
Okay, so here's what Minotaur Marino asks. I'm asking you. After your interview, were you pumped because you thought you got a quote from Forrest that was pretty big that you hadn't heard before?
Yes, absolutely. Now I know everybody's going to say, "Oh, not fair. You guys heard it and we don't know what it is." It's nothing that's going to make you get in your car and drive anywhere. But yes, there is something you guys are going to want to hear, in my opinion, for sure.
Well, and okay, so I'm going to give the answer. Cynthia and Mike were there. We said goodbye to Forrest. We thanked Mr. Preston. I actually said, don't call him Mr. Preston, Douglas. And the documentarian was like, we got some good footage. I'm so pumped, etc. And I said, I couldn't even remember half of the things because literally, as I'm asking one question, you have to put your mind into how do you segue to the next one based on the response. And there were some negative responses at times, so I had to venture to a different part of question, etc. I looked at Mike and Cynthia and I said, "Do you think we got anything?" I just don't
Yeah,
remember enough
Kpro
because it
didn't
was
remember.
really,
Yeah,
I was really overwhelmed. I was overstimulated with all of the different things that were coming at me.
right.
And Cynthia was like, this was so big because of XYZ. And then Mike's like, this was big because of XY or AB.
Yeah,
They
it's
were
just
like
how you
different
take it,
things, and nothing that it was like, this is going to break it loose kind of, but some really cool things that have not been said before or clarified.
And
So
and when you hear it, searchers, you may go, "Oh, well, I already knew that." In other words, that was obvious. Kind of like, well, now I'm not even gonna go there because everybody's gonna think, "Is that it?" Just something you may be like, "Oh, well, I knew that already. That's not
right,
new." Yeah. So
right.
you'll see.
So
You'll see.
some people will say nothing burger. Some people will say it confirms myself. Some people will go, wow. I do think, though, there were some things that we pressed to that the community would want to know that an average interviewer wouldn't have
Asked.
known is
Right.
out there. Like lead searcher, 200-foot searcher, there were some things that I don't even think they would understand that we asked for clarity on. And I think Forrest came through. Now with some ambiguous answers at times, with some I won't answer, which
Yeah.
was an answer.
He said, he said, I'm not going there. So we asked about maybe some stanzas in the poem, and he said, I'm not going there. You know, there were things where he said, I'm just not going to talk about that. We're like, okay. So don't think
Yeah.
we got him to answer everything in the world. We didn't. He did his,
Yeah.
I'm not going there. So,
Yeah.
but there's a couple things where, you know, when you see it, it's kind of like, huh, okay, all right. Maybe it'll
Yeah.
help you. Maybe it won't. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about David. Okay, now Detroit meetup. A couple of you think it's this Saturday. It's not this Saturday. It is a week from Saturday, so it's like 9 days away right now. 4 o'clock
November
at
23rd, 4 p.m.
4 p.m. at which Coney Island?
Leo, here, I'll bring it up.
Leo.
Leo's Coney Island. I'll bring it up on Google Maps and show everybody. So everybody that's driving in, be safe. I know there's snow on the ground now. Don't know what the weather's supposed to be like next weekend. I hope it's gone by then. But yeah, let me bring it up. Chase Opley. Yep.
Jim, we do not know when the documentary is going to be out because, quite honestly, I don't know that process well enough. There's a lot more by way of releases, information. The back end of documentaries is a little insane. Well, just for me because I'm not familiar with it. So I'm so glad that there is a professional in this. So we're working quickly.
Yeah, you get it, Minotaur. Good. He says he's excited because as searchers, we know what the questions we were supposed to ask. So, and that's all I was trying to say. And I uploaded a video earlier where I said update on the Cowlazars channel. And I had said that, hey, this documentary is different because we're searchers. We know what questions to ask. And that wasn't a slam against any other documentary out there. I was just saying ours might be a little bit different. That's all. So here is Google Maps right here. Leo's Coney Island. There's the address right here. That's where we're meeting. It's on Van Dyke between 14 and 15 Mile. You guys who know Detroit or don't know Detroit, you may have heard of 8 Mile. Well, this is up between 14 and 15 Mile. Leo's Coney Island, 33577 Van Dyke Avenue, Sterling Heights, Michigan. 4 p.m. Saturday, November 23rd. If you're going, please let me and Kpro know. I got one person that wants to buy a Chase Hopley game in person. If you want one, let me know because then I'll know to bring one for you. There may not be one available if you're just going to show up. So, yep.
Minotaur Reno says, are you staying at a hotel or the room that Cowlazar grew up in?
I'm embarrassed to show her the basement where I used to stay, but I'll take her there. And Minotaur Moreno.
You.
Yeah,
that's you. I want to see you.
Well, Minotaur also earlier said, who's the one person from your childhood you want to introduce Kpro to or something like that, Minotaur? He said something like that. So I've got 4 friends that I went to high school with, and we've all kept in touch for 35 years. So all of them are invited to the meetup on Saturday. So I hope they show. I know a couple of them are. And actually, Friday night, we might go downtown for the Christmas tree lighting or whatever. So, yeah, I'll introduce her, 1 to my parents, but 2 to the 4 friends from high school. So
oh, my goodness.
I'll get the honest review, and I'll let you guys know what they say.
Maybe I'm going to get a review. Maybe I do that on my channel, and I have a little honest review. No,
the show,
I
when we get back, they come on Zoom. They're all on
yeah.
to talk about it. That'd be pretty funny, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, 3D Bronze wants to know if Eminem's coming. Is that one of your 4 high school friends?
Yeah, right. I grew up in the same area, but no. Joshua, no, nobody's all the way up there in Alpena. I have a buddy that's in Richmond, which is like 23 Mile Road in Gratiot. That's about as far north. I had grandparents in Jackson, but that's more west. Yeah, not so much. I used to go to Sheboygan when I was a kid. We had cabins. We would camp up there, if you know where Sheboygan is in Upper Michigan. But I mean, this is 70s. This is mid 70s. We're talking way back in the day. This is when Forrest Fenn's art gallery was just getting going in the middle of the 70s.
Yep. Well, Richard asked me, what is my PhD in? My PhD is in organizational behavior, which is why people function well in certain companies. And if you think about your employer, if they knew a little bit more about you and what motivates you, you would do really well and maybe not quit or move on, etc. But my undergrad was in marketing. And so I did a lot of marketing work. And then I have a master's along the way. So a little bit of that human behavior part, but when it relates to business, I really focus in business school. So that is my
not
area.
Statistical variance like MEH or whatever you were talking about earlier.
Well, anybody that has, this is what I tell my faculty that I supervise. Anyone that has a PhD has to be able to teach statistics. I have. I don't like it. It's not fun. I like the softer side of things. Think of Shelley Carney. I like about people. How do you motivate them? How do you keep them
Oh,
happy?
okay.
Leadership styles, etc. But have I taught at 7:30 a.m.? Have I taught statistics? I have, because that's what you do. When you do what your boss needs you to do, you just roll with it. You do the best that you can.
And
But yeah, I have taught statistics at 7:30 a.m.
how
That's
many
not
years of school do you have total? Schooling outside of high school, after college, I mean. Say it again.
that's 16.
Oh
Yeah,
wow. Well, good for you then. Yeah, that's a lot. I know.
yeah. So
Okay. Good for you.
anyway, yeah. Well,
So
and
that
that's
means you can't find the treasure chest because you're not a redneck from Texas. Isn't that the
I'm a
analogy
I
somebody
have a
made
truck.
once?
I have a big truck.
Right.
I'm a big old truck, and I had a farm, and I had chickens. And the chickens we taught to come on up, and they would eat corn out of my hand and run on over. And my kids had ticks and no.
Nah.
What's a redneck? Define a redneck, Forrest Fenn.
Right, right,
I
right,
don't
right.
know. I don't
Well, I
know.
like that Forrest said one, you wouldn't think a PhD needs a crutch. That was pretty funny when he told you that. And also when he says, my shadow isn't cast by a fool. That's my favorite saying by Forrest. My
Well, when
shadow isn't
Forrest and
cast
I
by a
talked
fool.
early on, when I think it was about a year in before I told him what I did, because I don't see myself. Well, anyway, I'm the first person to have that in my family, any advanced degree, etc. Um, when I told him, he was like, "Really?" I was
Ah,
like, "Yeah, don't judge." Yeah. So I mean, I think nobody fits within a box. So that's the only thing that I say is I don't. That's not something that I would have shared. Um, Forrest was actually the only one that knew for the first 4 years, other than my family member, of course, that I was. So I actually don't think the degree relates to smarts. It relates to more perseverance. That relates to the redneck side of me, because my parents were farmers from Kansas, and shout out to my dad that still has his 250-acre, Kansas farm. And so I don't even want to get into the subject because
250-acre Kansas farm. Is that what I heard?
yeah, and if you
Wow.
know anything about harvesting, etc., um, I think it's much harder than to get actually out there and harvest a farm
Hmm.
than any of the classes I took. You put the hours in on, but to work hard. But like my dad said, the only thing that got you through school was the work ethic I taught you, right?
No, there
And
you
he's
go.
exactly right.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of from a humble family, and so shout out to my family that yeah.
Sassafras says it's not a little shot. She says, or he, I don't know who Sassafras is, says seems like the more educated you are, the higher likelihood that you overthink the poem. And that's why Monday I want to get back to the poem being literal and what could it mean literally? Not some crazy fancy interpretation, just straight literal. Forrest knew you start here, you walk to these 9 places, and boom, you're there. And
Well,
maybe we go
and
over that.
sassafras, you bring up, I think, a great point. Because as I was getting into the periodic table, and as I started doing some statistical stuff, as I started getting into not try the wheel was a little bit more just moving stuff around. When I started getting into some advanced stuff, I actually brought my son in, which we're going to talk about later, with my son and said, "Okay, so what do you think about this?" And he's like, "I don't get it." And I was thinking, if my son doesn't get it, the average redneck's not. I'm too advanced. I'm too. Even though my brain might understand it, I don't think that's what Forrest wants. Even if somebody has the capacity to do that, and I think everybody does. But some people shut down. I know when I taught statistics, I would teach it very, very plainly, but they would shut down because they hear statistics. And so I don't think that's just not Forrest, in my opinion. I think he used to go to the archaeology, and this is another question I had for him about the PhD society. He used to go there, and I think he used to laugh at him because he was the doer. He was the Harrison Ford. Like so. Anyway, I just think that somebody asked like which do you want, like the highly educated or the guy that does it all the time. I think it's a little bit of both. So and that's why like the programs that I manage, they require internships. They require you go and doing it before you can even graduate. And so I just don't want to get into the judging of either side or negativity of either side. I want to say I think both are important, especially in our society. I'm not I'm not saying that I'm big enough in my field or world to change society. I think education is driving where you're going to be from a socioeconomic standpoint. And so you really do need to think about where education is. Like for my kids, I don't know if my kids will get to the education level I am, but if they can get to where they're happy and they're motivated and they're having fun, I actually think small business is the way to go. Mike and I have a small business. We're having fun with the small business. And I mean, many people say, well, if you make $1,000, how much are you getting back? It's like, guys, you're missing the entire point. Like, yes, we always get back, but having something like we made a board game. Do you know how cool that is?
We did.
And Mike made a coin, and we bought topo maps, and we just sold the very last one. Those are the kind of things.
And we've made treasure hunts too. And there'll be more
Yeah.
of the little scavenger hunts for the numbered coins. Yeah, we're gonna do more of those too, for sure.
Yeah.
So Sassafras says it's a he. So sorry, Sassafras. You said you might remember Kpro. It's a he.
Yeah. So anyway, there's lots of things being said. I missed a lot. I'm sorry if you hit Kpro. So let's talk about the Detroit meetup we talked about, right?
Leo's Coney Island next Saturday, 4 p.m. Let us know if you're coming. Let me know if you want a game because I'm not bringing a whole bunch of games, but I'll bring one if you were telling me you want one.
And if you've pre-ordered and you want, which I think is crazy, but if you want Mike and I to sign them, that's when I'm going to be able to sign any of them. But you have to tell Mike up front. So we'll actually open it. Mike's going to bring the board. We'll sign a bunch of them, and we'll have those to be able to get back to you.
Right.
Right.
So the next thing is the World Series of Fenn. It's a little poker tournament we do once a year.
Yeah.
February. When is it?
I think it's 14, 15. It is also President's Day, so if you want to take Monday off and have a long weekend, it is also Valentine's Day. Bring your loved ones. I will commit. I will say, and you know who you are. There might be some wives that are like, I'm not searchers. What should I do? I will very nicely take them under my wing. Just leave me with your wives. You guys go play. Go play, and
poker,
I will make wives.
The actual poker tournament is Saturday night, February 15th, but we'll probably have stuff planned for the 14th and the 15th, maybe even the 16th. You never know.
We're also going to have, it looks like we're going to be having a Chaseopoly tournament.
Yeah,
so if you're not totally into poker, do the Chaseopoly one, and it's just fun.
And it'll be timed. You might think, well, that could take hours. We're going to do like a 1 hour thing. You know, it'll be a drinking
kind of like
game.
a Survivor.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. Yeah. And we'll have a lot of fun stuff planned. Just get your butt out here for that weekend. The weekend of February 14th is when you got to be here. And then from there, we'll have all the details on where you can show up, who, what, why, when, where, why. But the poker tournament itself is Saturday at, I want to say 5 p.m. There'll be more details once we get into next year. $60 buy-in. That's it. $60. And the casino handles that. You're not giving me and Kpro any money. That's all casino. They handle that. And it's fun. Don't know how to play poker? It's fine. We just have fun.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. I think the person who won didn't really know what they were doing. Or a couple of the people who placed may not have known what they were doing. But Steven Barnes, you got to come back.
Betty.
And,
you bitter Betty. Come on. Don't be a bitter Betty. Maybe that's what we do.
Bailey's Las Vegas. Jeffrey says, Mike, where? Bailey's Las Vegas. What?
Mike,
Bailey's Hotel
why don't
Casino.
we give everybody a chip? And if they have the chip, we do the bounties, and whoever wins the bounties.
Oh, we could.
That's who gets our prizes.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. So the casino, we want to do a bounty, if you don't know, is when you knock somebody out, you get their chip, and you get money for that chip. The casino was like, oh, we don't want to get into that. But me and Kpro could do our own thing. Yeah, for sure. We may do that. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Well,
yeah,
and
for sure.
Richard, though I appreciate you wanting to do our taxes, we actually have a searcher who does our taxes.
Yeah, that's true.
Or at least does my taxes and does the LLC's taxes. So some people ask why LLC and all that. When you have a game that has little choking things and this and that, it's just worth it to make sure that you kind of this is a full-time job. Mike has a full-time job. I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
But this is just fun, and this is fun enough though. You have to cover liability case.
Who knows what this is from? Anybody who knows what this is from? First person in the chat wins that gets it correct. Minotaur Moreno, how much Eminem have you had Kpro listen to this week? Nothing this week, but I have watched her, made her watch part of 8 Mile, and then I'm going to take her on 8 Mile. She'll be listening
Minotaur,
to Eminem.
I will say, he said, okay, so I'm a country girl. Sorry, guys. I am I don't play one on TV. I am a red. Michael,
Oh,
I
sorry.
listen to your crap. You have to
Yeah,
listen to
I like
mine.
Garth Brooks. That's about it. Go ahead.
Okay. So he said,
Yes.
"Do you know what 8 Mile is?"
Twilight Zone.
I'm like,
Sorry.
"I have no idea what 8 Mile is." He's like, "What?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Eminem." And I'm like, "I know that's a white rapper, like white guy, kind of younger. Like that's I like kind of had him in my head. He was like the one that took his mom on. That's all I knew about him." And of course, my daughter, who's totally into rap, and Mike can bond with, I'm like, no, I don't get it. So yes, I watched 8 Mile, the movie. I don't watch movies.
You
I
watch like
suffer
the
through it.
battle scene at the end. We didn't actually. There was no way you could barely watch Rounders. There's no way you could watch 8 Mile the whole
Right, and I'm yeah. So
movie.
anyway, so I watched it, but I won't say Eminem is your favorite. I would say a few other rappers are
Oh
your
yeah, I
favorite,
mean
and
there's
you've
just a
sent
lot
me.
of people from the Detroit area. Kid Rock. You guys know Robin Williams is from Eminem. Madonna. There's a lot of people. Bob Seger. Anybody? Motown. The whole Motown thing
Kid
from
Rock. Did you say
Detroit.
Kid Rock?
Yeah.
You know, Kid Rock is actually he has the number one country.
He's more country, but he said hip hop is how he like broke in. But yeah, he's a little bit of both. And yeah, I like Kid Rock. So anyway, yeah, Elton
Okay,
John
Lisa
supposedly
Smith
saved
says she's
Eminem. That's
country.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there anybody in chat that's going to be at the Detroit meetup? I don't see Sassy in chat. She said she's going to be there, right?
Yeah, she's having. I think they're all frozen up there.
So. Oh gosh. I hope the weather is not too horrible, but we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
You from Detroit, MM? Yes, I am from Detroit.
No,
I grew up on 8 Mile.
No, Minotaur Marina, MM.
Kid Rock owns. Right. Oh yeah, Joshua. So he's saying he's got a house in Lincoln Park, which okay, cool. Oh, Joshua's going to be at the meetup. Boots on the ground.
Yeah, I've had 3 or 4 people say they may not. It depends on this. It depends on that. Yeah.
You need to let me know if you want to buy anything, Joshua. What we talked about. You definitely got to let me know. So I'm not bringing it unless people are going to buy it. So.
See, Richard likes the old school. Okay, so I grew up, and I will say I've had this discussion with Forrest, so I can tell you, like the whole Johnny Cash, like old.
Yeah, I like Johnny Cash. Yeah.
That's what I grew up on is old country. And then country is like, I mean, I still listen to other things, but I will say old country is what I grew up on. And you know, the Dolly Partons and the
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Who am I thinking of? Loretta Lynn? The coal miner's daughter. Yeah, I know all that stuff. Come on. Jeffrey, if you're asking me where I went to high school, I grew up on the east side. So in Harper Woods, I went to a Lutheran school. Not because I'm Lutheran, but did not want to go to a Detroit public school, where I would have went to Denby, if you know the area. So I went to Lutheran school instead, Lutheran East. How did we get into high school and stuff? I don't know.
Because we talked about the Detroit meetup. Hey, Rodney says I'm from Michigan too, born and raised. Would still be there if it wasn't for the Army. So there you go.
Nice, Rodney. All right. So Steve said he may meet us at the casino. So we may be at the casino Friday night. We may be at the casino Saturday night. We're not sure yet. We don't know.
Oh, we're going to be there both
or maybe
nights.
both.
And
yeah.
There are 2 other searchers that have already told me that they are going to be there as well.
Oh, cool. So, okay. And if you don't want anybody to know you're there, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, some people have said, can they just show up and say that they're Mike's friends from high school? Sure. Like you
so
do
nobody
you.
knows. Yeah.
If that's what I mean, yeah, you do you. It just whatever makes you.
So
I'll tell you.
I'll tell you a little story. So for Vegas Die, which was the treasure hunt back here in Vegas, way back in 2008, which really got me into treasure hunting, we used to do meetups. We would meet up with the author, like at Starbucks or different areas around the valley. And there was a meetup we did one time on Fremont Street, Vegas, Fremont Street. We went down to Hugo's Cellar, which is a bar at the bottom and a nice restaurant at the bottom of the Four Queens. Well, we did the whole meetup thing. And then after the meetup, we're all kind of standing around and somebody comes up that I noticed was over at the bar the entire time. It was a searcher, but he really did. He just watched the whole thing from afar. He didn't want after everybody left, he came up to me, but he didn't want anybody to know he was there. He didn't want any. Yeah, it was just interesting that he watched the whole thing and he sat close enough where he could hear, but he did not want anybody to know he was there. So whenever we do a meetup now, like when we did the one here in Vegas, I always kind of look around like, is there anybody paying attention to us a little bit too much? Like it's a searcher, but they don't want to know that we know they're there. So I think
we had a couple of those in Vegas that finally did come around. Minotaur Marino, what is the most embarrassing story your high school crew will tell Kpro about you?
Oh, wow. There might have been probably a couple shenanigans when I used to go home on leave from the Navy. This is right out of high school, like 18, 19, 20 years old. We used to go down to Belle Isle a lot, like 3, 4 a.m. We used to play tag with cars. We'd have beater cars and just run them into each other. It's Detroit. That's just what you do. I mean, we took a
Well, I
bottle
will.
of Everclear. Anybody know what Everclear is? That it's like nail polish. It's like 20% alcohol or something. So we poured it out on a tennis court one time and let it on fire at night. So that was fun. We used to do weird stuff like that. We used to hit a lot of garbage cans. Yeah, I'm
Well,
surprised we
and
never
I
got
will
arrested.
say, Mike announced on his Facebook page, and I'm like, I guess this is a really big thing when you announce your relationship and you tag
The
the person.
status. Yeah.
That's like a big thing. And so I have had a couple of his friends saying, "Hey, we're going to meet you when you come and meet." And there's some fun
Oh, they
stories
reached
about.
out to you
I
already?
might
Is
have.
that right?
I told you about the one. I'm not going to tell you about anybody else.
Oh, that's right.
So
I
I
forgot. Yeah,
might
yeah.
have a story or two that I think, and some of them are like, he's a treasure hunter. So I'm like, no, I'm a treasure hunter. Like he's like kind of a treasure hunter. Like, and it's kind of cool. Like so anyway, we're gonna have some fun with it.
Do
So.
I miss the potholes? When we were in high school, we were riding around one time at night, and there was a manhole cover that was missing. No manhole cover. Tire went right in there. Bam! I mean, everybody, yeah, stopped the car. The whole thing was wrecked. It was crazy. Just maybe reminded me of that when you said potholes. But yeah, Michigan's got some horrible roads. There's snow there right now. So actually, let's look at the forecast. What's the forecast going to be while we're out there?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know how many people I don't think I know a lot of people still from high school, and that's a good thing.
No?
I think I had a
Oh,
little bit
well.
more wild of
Are
a
you
high
saying you can't
school thing.
remember high school, or are you saying you don't want
No, I remembered it, but I kind of put that in my past. Like,
to? I got you.
they did ask me to come back for my 20 or 25th, whatever one it was, because I still hold like the 1 mile record. I was really into track, and so they're like, "You still hold the record, and with your da da da, will you come and speak?" And I'm like, "No, like if that's how you define like who holds the record, and you guys gotta let the stuff go. Like, go and find somebody that like is really high up ranking. Like, I don't know. I thought it was silly, so I haven't been back to any of my reunions, so it's a little bit different for me.
This may not be a good experience for Kpro. Well, you never know. Yeah, we'll see.
I might move my little status to single afterwards.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
So when we come back, if Kpro's going on herself live, maybe something happened. But the temperature
Oh,
while
that's
we're there
true.
next weekend, the high is 36 and the low is 25. So I guess I'm leaving my shorts here in Vegas. It's going to
Are
be
you
a
gonna be
cold
okay,
one.
Mike? See,
Yeah.
I spent Kansas time, and God, it was great. Even though I was born and raised in Southern California, I loved the snow. And okay, you want to talk about redneck? Do you guys want to know how redneck I am? My 3 and 5-year-old, when I lived in Kansas, when it got to 0 degrees, they would completely get naked and they would run outside. And their contest was, well, run
What?
outside. They would be just outside the door, and they would say who could last the longest, and whoever
Oh my
lasted the
God.
longest got to pick whatever the movie was that night. It was cute. I mean,
Jeez.
like whatever. But here's where we weren't that redneck. We had a heating little sauna thing for our chickens, like because I always felt bad for the chickens because they can't be out in 0 degree, even though they had like a little barn thing. We had like a whole little heater system for them,
Oh
and
yeah.
so they like we were redneck, but not redneck anyway. Okay.
Everclear is 95% alcohol. Exactly. That's why we did not drink it. We poured it out on a tennis court and set it on fire because I got it when I was in the Navy, put it in a suitcase. I don't know if that was right or not, and brought it back home. But I was just like, it's like nail polish. Like, there's no way you can drink this. So we had the bright idea of let's set it on fire, and that's what we did. We
Well,
spelled
and
out a word. I forget the word, but we poured it all out. My leg was in a cast because I had fractured my ankle in the Navy. So we're all trying to run away from it, and I'm behind in the crutches. Fell down in the snow. Yeah, my friends will probably tell you that story for sure.
oh, that's gonna be awesome. No, I want to see the big thing for me. And you said your ma, and I love it how you call your ma. Your ma, who
Ma.
I video chatted, so it's not like it's gonna be the first time we've
Mm-hmm.
like met. But your ma has. I want to see some service pictures. Like that will be fun, or to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
like
yeah.
kid pictures and all that.
I've
We did
got
some.
my high school yearbooks down there in the basement. But there's also some cool stuff in the basement that I was telling you I want to bring back. Speaking about board games, I've got the original Life, Clue. This is all from the early '80s, maybe not the original, but the early '80s version of Monopoly, Clue, Battleship. And I was the kid that everything had to be in perfect condition, like I wasn't chewing stuff up. So somehow I want to get that back here. I don't know. Once I get a house in Vegas, I'll bring that stuff back. But
Once you
anyway,
get a house. Yeah. Fun anyway.
all the rap CDs. You know what's down there is all my rap cassettes. Have you ever seen a cassette?
God, that's.
Yeah,
I
you've
told you
seen
I grew
cassettes.
up on 8-track. Cassettes were what I did in high school.
Right.
And I remember when CDs came out, I'm like, this is never going to take off.
Right. I've got
Yeah.
Mentarosa, Mellow Man Ace, the cassette single. It's just the one song, cassette single. Anybody? Mellow Man Ace, Mentarosa? All right. Anyway.
Well, and
but yeah.
MM Hammock says my liver laughs at you, and I'm sorry to say, Mike, whatever you hear about whatever I hear from your high school friends, I guarantee when I think it's more my college friends than my high school friends.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hopefully I make it through that time with you. The best thing Kpro can do is make a good impression with your parents. Besides,
That's a good question. I don't know. I have to think about that. What would be the best thing for you to do to make a good impression? I don't know. I have to think about that one. And he's like,
I
not
have an
just be
answer for
you,
that.
blah blah blah. That's what he said
No.
though. Besides, be yourself. What?
I was gonna say just be me.
Yeah. Well, no, he said besides that. In other words, that of course that's a given. You know.
I don't know, Minotaur. If you have any ideas, let me know for God's sake.
Yeah, Detroit
I will
Rock
say,
City, Kiss.
Mike's very close to his mother, so that's actually
of course.
like it's a very important thing. Like you guys know, it's a. How did we get here?
I know. Why are we talking about this?
Like,
but the Fox Theater down on Woodward. Woodward was the first paved street in the U.S., by the way. But the Fox Theater downtown, I saw the Beastie Boys in 1986. Saw the Beastie Boys there. Fishbone opened for them. Anybody? Fishbone. Anyway, these are all just trips down memory lane. But Monday's show, Monday we're going over the poem. We're going to do a full 2 hours, maybe, only on the poem. All right? Because we've gotten away from the poem for a while. Well, seem like we go 2 hours now instead of 1 hour. So 1 to 2 hours will be on the poem. So you guys get ready with your literal interpretations, because that's what I want to hear is how the poem could be literal, how Forrest Fenn could have set that up. We try and overthink it all, and we think it, but what if it's just that easy? It's literal. As I've gone alone in there is just him walking in there by himself. It's nothing other than that. So.
Yeah, but by himself, that means we need to get.
Fishbone.
We can get into that.
Joel
okay, so Rodney asks,
"Oh my God, Fishbone."
Is there anything in particular that's happening at the Meet Kpro and Cowlazars? No, we're just talking. We are going to meet some people about the documentary because the documentary is right now in full force. Do you know anything, Jason, etc.? Toby and Shelley are still doing their twice a week. They have gone to Tuesday and Thursday with they're calling the VIP Vault, where it's a fee to review the poem or TTO's TC at a very different level. Caught a little controversy, but the people that are in it.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah, the moderators, I'm a moderator. We're given free access. I have not been able to jump into it yet. Kind of an all or nothing. I don't feel like I can yet, but they are doing, from what I've heard, everybody's really, really happy there. Sean, I've heard this week, I've gotten a ton of emails, or maybe let's say 4 or 5 emails, asking why he took his videos down. I don't know if it was this week or whatever. I don't know, but this is kind of the off-season time. I mean, videos come
Everybody
down,
takes breaks.
Everybody hits restart. I think it's actually a really good thing. I think Jason and Sasha did her scrapbook videos, really get into different scrapbooks, which are awesome. And then we have like Fenny Bones just did a
I thought that was funny
with his thing. That was a big one.
It's kind of funny. I posted that in Forrest Fenn's Grand Adventure. Join that group on Facebook if you're not already part of it.
Yeah, Logic Tracer. He has been coming out with some new stuff. There's like 3 or 4 tubers that are starting to come up. So I think some are gonna drop off, some are gonna come up. All of that's gonna continue to be fluid. And so we did a kind of an offshoot of the roundtable a couple of weeks ago. We had about 10 people respond. So there's still about 10, 12, maybe 4. At the time when we did it about a month ago, there was 31 tubers that had done something that month. So it's not quite what it was with so many big tubers. I think it's going to take some time, but that's what the off season is for, is some tubers to kind of come out of the works and start to put some good content out there.
Now, Blue Fox says, Kpro, are you going to share a new clue from the interview? So I know you talked about it already. Make it clear to
Yeah, so let
everybody.
me
Yeah.
I just got at 2 o'clock today the actual footage. I am not able to get it together in time, so I apologize. I'm not going to be able to put a video out of it. It's because that's what goes actually in. I've been reminded by the professionals. That's what goes in the teasers and the documentary. I will try to get through it this weekend to actually get one quote for Monday's show. So I apologize. I thought I was going to be able to get it yesterday. I actually had an emergency with my child and I wasn't able to get in to meet with the documentarian to get the items and of the actual download. I got that today at 2 o'clock. I wasn't able to grab it. I don't want to just grab it. I actually grab it and talk with Mike. Do you think this is the one?
Yeah, we
There's
need to talk it
probably
over.
what,
So
3, 4, 5 that I would say would be really cool to just have, because the first question, and this is what I was cautioned about, when you put out, here's the quote, and I say it out of my own words, the next question is going to be, okay, we want to hear it out of Forrest now.
right,
We're not going to do that until the trailers, etc.
we can't
And
show any of the video. Yeah.
we haven't even developed the storyline. So that is the next step. Yeah.
So maybe next
So
week we'll talk about it. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's going to be the next step. So I got a little carried away. This is more of a regimented process than my marketing mind is. I just want to go, 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 and um, that's not quite exactly how it works. And I don't want to screw up anybody's.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a documentarian that is part of this. It's not just me and Kpro. We could just talk about it for hours and hours. You know us, but it's not how it works. There's somebody else, and we have to defer to what they want to do. So it'll come
what
out.
is
You'll see it all eventually.
what
What?
is bow with a bow?
Bought at a bog. Kid Rock. It's Kid Rock song. So here's a story about that. When they
All
filmed
summer long. That's the only Kid
that's a
Rock
good
song
song.
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a lot of other ones that are good. But here's a story for you. So this is mid 90s, or maybe it's late 90s when Kid Rock did the video for Ba to the Ba. It was held at the Detroit State Fairgrounds, and it was like an open casting call. And I remember the day I got out of work, and I was like, I could just go. I could have been in the video, is what I'm saying. But it was raining, and because it was raining, I was like, ah. So if you watch the video for Ba to the Ba, Kid Rock, it's rainy, and you see everybody at the fairgrounds. I could have been in that
Okay,
crowd, but I didn't go.
just for
That's
some
all.
of us that might not know what bow to the bow means,
Yeah,
what you're like, I could have been in the video. Like, okay,
right.
what
It's a song. It's
is
called.
this?
That's a song, and
Oh,
I can't
okay,
show it because of copyright. But yeah.
okay,
Wait,
okay.
maybe I got that wrong though. Oh no, it's not. All right, maybe I got it the wrong video. What video? All right, hang on. Let me figure out what video it was. There was a Kid Rock video that was done at the.
Okay. Gregory says back on Chase stuff because Mike, he goes a little ornery. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so many emails right now. I love you all, but I'm gonna wait until after. Are you working to release a documentary prior to the main search season 2020? Also, do you have a title? Gregory, I will tell you the working title right now. It may evolve because the interview went a little bit different of direction because Forrest actually said on two different occasions, you haven't asked me this. And then he gave us some stuff that I did not think he was going to give us. I wanted to stay away from a few of the sensitive subjects. He jumped right into it. The working title, though, is called Beyond the Chase. It's not just a poem and a treasure. There's so many more things. There's 10 years. There's a person that has been Forrest Fenn that has been in the middle of the chase. He interacts with searchers. He has search meetups. He has items that are out there. He has fundraisers that we've done. We have done so much for the search community and different searchers. There's a subculture. Douglas Preston, he did Once Upon a While. There are books out there with Douglas Preston. There are some things that Douglas Preston revealed. There are crazy people that go after Forrest and his family. There are all those different things. I don't know which one the avenue. We got quotes from all different aspects. We're still looking at what that storyline, that's what they call storyline, is going to be.
Forever was the Kid Rock video. Forever.
Oh, forever.
2001. I could have went, but I didn't.
So bow chicka wow wow or bow
Yeah,
wow, whatever
Bow
it
Chicka
is.
Wow Wow is a whole
Yeah.
different movie.
Oh.
So Gregory Calvin Garcia says, "Are you working to release a documentary prior to the main search season of 2020? And also, do you have a title?"
Michael, I just read
Oh,
that,
I
and I
was looking
just
up
went
Kid
over that.
Rock. I'm sorry.
Yes, that's exactly what you were doing when I was
All right.
answering that. So, those of you that didn't hear the answer, like Mike, I will tell
Sorry.
you the working title is Beyond the Chase because
Yeah,
of
there you go.
blah blah blah. Just rewind 30 seconds, and we're hoping. I won't actually say when it relates to the timing. I don't know how quickly we can get the timing out, and
Yeah.
that is just because the one thing I have learned. I don't know about this area of the world. I am having to relate on releases, documentarian things. We don't even know which way we're going to go yet until we have the documentary put together. Are we going to go network? Are we going to go Netflix? Are we going to go series? Are we going to go like which area are we going to go? We don't have that yet. So once we know that, that's going to drive the release a little bit more. But we're working on it. I can tell you, we're working on it. I'm working on it considerable hours because this is a substantial part of the reason timing got crazy. But again, I literally just got.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah.
review it all. I went over it all yesterday. I kind of went through it and made my own notes. Now Kpro's got to do the same, and then we kind of compare and we say, what do you think's important? Because you can't fit everything in.
Right.
It's like
well,
Toby,
and it's not
you know,
just for the searcher; it's for the non-searcher. So we have a non-searcher documentarian doing the same thing. Bring that all together. What are you laughing at, Michael?
nothing. Comments in the chat.
Okay.
Toby made the comment. He goes, if you just have a 2-hour interview with Forrest and Douglas, that's not a documentary. That's just a 2-hour interview. You have to edit it. You have to cut it. You have to interject searcher stories and all that stuff. So that's what we got to
And
work on.
Christopher Robin says, what happens if the treasure is found before the documentary is complete? That will be perfect.
Yeah.
Because, it would not derail the documentary because that would be the end of the documentary. There is a spot where one of those that are being interviewed says when they think it's going to be found. And so that could be a perfect segue into, and how was it found, and this and that. And, we take the next step, and maybe a series could happen more then. I don't know.
Who saw Cocaine Island on Netflix? Kpro loved that movie. So there's a documentary on Netflix called, I think it's called the Legend of Cocaine Island or something like that. But just look up Cocaine Island. So it's a true story about a guy who heard a story of somebody that buried cocaine down in like Florida Keys. Well, he goes down there and gets it. And it's a recreation. He tells the story, recreation. But me and Kpro were like, we can make something better than that. The Forrest Fenn story is better than that.
The documentarian is like, if this gets picked up, we could probably have a series if Netflix is the way to go.
Yeah.
Well, is a series on Netflix better than a full motion picture versus a small documentary series versus? That was
you saw it, Czar? It was funny. I thought it was a funny thing. But I just think we could do something better. That's all. And I don't care where it gets picked up. As long as this documentary gets picked up somewhere, I'll be happy.
Steve W says lead searcher in the doc. I think the first question is maybe we need to have a little bit of a discussion with Forrest about the lead searcher, what he thinks of it, etc. Maybe that would be the lead into that before we could get into who the lead searcher is.
Maybe that could be the name of the documentary, The Lead Searcher. Wouldn't that be something? Anyway. All right, guys. Crazy Rich Asians. I haven't seen the movie. Was it good? So I still haven't seen it. I've heard a lot about it, but documentarian is totally a made-up position. It's somebody that's produced a documentary.
but not the lead searcher. Yeah, a documentarian is someone who's done a documentary. The lead searcher is the one that doesn't have the treasure chest. Anyway, sorry I missed the 10th clue. Justin, the 10th clue is the 2 parking lots. That's from Douglas Preston. We went over that, but that was in the first hour and 45 minutes.
We go 2 hours now. It's crazy.
What's wrong?
Now, if we do 2 hours just on the literal interpretation of the poem Monday, that'll be pretty awesome. That's what I hope we do. So get your questions ready, everybody, or email me or Kpro. The email is down in the description. Email me about what you want me to talk about, and I'll bring it up for sure. I'll show your email, or you can keep it anonymous. But I'd like to see what people's interpretations of the clues are. Like no place for the meek. What does that mean? Is that a clue, and what does it mean? That type stuff. Literal, not some crazy, interpretation.
No, crazy to us, and we're not judging. We're just saying what works with us.
Yeah, I wish there was The Secret was in Detroit. We'd be looking for that, but there is no cask in Detroit.
There's one but there is a cask, and somebody asked earlier, what are you doing on the NC hunt? We went 4 or 5 times, boots on the ground this last week. Haven't found it. We're still working through right now. We, meaning Sassy, is my eyes and ears of trying to figure this out. She has a few new ideas. I'm trying to, I don't know, figure out where to go. The cool part about the H caches is he does tell you whether you should go out or not. So if it's not in the right general location, I went out a couple places. Also messaged him. He said, don't go out there. So Jack says he's the lead searcher. He wants me to say it to everybody, and he's marking everybody on this day on the calendar. Maybe we need a rooster roster like AGK. Jack, it would be great. I hope you are the one. That would be awesome if it was one of our people. Czar, it's actually Cary. I live in Cary, which is it butts up to
Suburb.
Raleigh.
Yeah.
One of the locations, which was Pirates Cove, which the whole thing was about a pirate, was literally the park that my son plays in. And he's like, I'm going to play. And I'm like, no, it might be here. And he's like, I'm going to play. It was a big, big park, but literally walking distance of the house, which it's funny because Sassy sent it to me. And I'm like, that's like 0.12 miles from my house. I'm going to it, which was super fun. Anyway.
Okay, we got 5 minutes left. What else you want to get in? Anything?
Okay, we did Detroit Meetup, we did World Series of Fenn, we did if there is, here's the other thing. My little guy, my wonderful little guy, and don't mess with him because I'll rip you up. But if you have questions for him outside of the poem, something that you do want to hear from a kid that's pretty familiar with, he's gone boots on the ground on 3 different hunts, etc. So if there's a quote that you would like him to interpret, I'm all about it. Just send it to me or put it into the quote or the comments of any of his videos. We've been watching those. Respond the positive ones, the negative ones I delete, positive ones, and it'll say Kpro says, and then it'll say Dpro says, blah, 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 blah. And that's how we're responding. That's what we're doing. If we have other kids interested, my daughter May, she's not as into it. She's been boots on the ground on 2 different hunts. She's not as into it. My son, that's his entire world. He got the Treasure X game. I showed it to Mike.
Yeah.
Fun. So, but if you have a question that you want, just a 10-year-old, and you just might get his interpretation, but he's kind of an informed treasure hunter rather than, I mean, he was a banana at Halloween. Why? He's like, Forrest says, grab every banana. And I'm like, okay, I was a gypsy. He was a banana. How? I mean, he's just, God.
So if anybody out there wants to send something to David in Kpro, email Kpro and she may give you her UPS address. But yeah, wouldn't it be cool? There's this Treasure X thing he does. That would be a cool toy. Or something related to treasure hunting. How about his own metal detector? Do they make a metal detector for kids or something?
We have a very high-powered $500 metal detector I got from one of the other channels. I think it might have been Rick's. I don't remember. But that's not as much. I just want him to think about things and get into things. The Swiss Army knife overwhelmed him. He is so excited. He's like, I'm kind of a man now, right, Mom? Last year I asked for one and you said no. And so Jim,
well, he's 10. He's almost a man. He's coming up on it.
He is the man of this house. So I will say this last year, he has had to grow up fast, and he's just been, So introverted kid, Minotaur, I will say a couple of the benign comments I still leave up where it's like, what does a kid know about this? And we put a response up that says, somebody said this isn't a treasure hunt for kids. That one wasn't as mean as some of the others. The mean ones I delete. But when he says that isn't one for the kids, I said, what do you think about that? And he's like, tell them this. Then why would Forrest say, show this to a kid?
Right.
And I typed it right up. And I said, he says, so he's finding his voice to that. I asked him if he's ready for a live show. He says he is not. When he is, he just wants to get a few of these under his belt, where we just record it because he feels safe with Mom because Mom's the coolest. He's still he's like, I'm your protector, and I'm like, he's
bring
just
him
so cool.
Bring him on here. I'll ask him questions about the poem to get his take on it.
Yeah, I just don't want him to be able to. He does YouTube, and so I don't want him to be able to see the chat later in case anybody is mean. So I'm not quite.
I gotcha.
I mean, it took me 4 years for me to come out. It was a brutal year for me. The second year, I was like, okay, I'm good. Now I'm just touching because his picture was already put out, so he's already out there. So he's like, Mom, let's just do it.
So,
Because I'm a treasure hunter.
speaking of treasure hunting, Outcast Searcher says, Kpro, have you found the map online that is used in the Theodosia PDF? That's the overlay thing, right, or something? I'm not really familiar with it. So you have found it?
I will say yes and no. That is the piece that I don't fully understand. That is the part that I see the overlay. I saw the 2 maps, and I see how the rivers and things line up. That is Sassy's part of the world. So Sassy is the one that I have really needed to, and then we got confirmed it's in the town of Cary. So that is where the map takes us. Where we go from there, I think is crapshoot. So, but yes, I believe so. I didn't do it myself though, so that's the reason I can't say yes, me. But some searchers, this is the hard part about some searchers are getting little bits and pieces in different parts because this has been out a few years, so we're trying to get the rest of it together. So there you have it.
All right, everybody. I think that's about it. We'll be back Monday. You never know. Kpro and David may put up a video this weekend, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit like on this video, to see. Oh, they are going to put one, so you never know when that's going to happen.
I think so because as David said, he uses. Somebody sent me an Albert Einstein quote about it's not the 100 ways you failed to make a light bulb. It's the one way you, or the Robert. I don't remember.
It was Edison and the light bulb, right? Edison.
Yeah, but I think it was a quote from somebody. Anyway, he just said, let's go out just to have fun. And so there's an area that I might wait to ask Gates about just because he just wants to go out. He just wants to get out into the adventure of life. And he's like, I don't need a big jacket. I'm like, it was 18 degrees. He's like, well, start running around. Just run around with me. And I'm like, okay. So I think that's what we're going to do.
So I think you need to hide something and create a treasure map and give it to David and see if he can figure it out and find it. Like in your backyard or in a park or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No?
And maybe you fly out here and you go with David and find it.
Maybe I'll look into Cary and I'll create a map, and maybe if he can find something, I'll give him one of the numbered coins. We'll see. We'll see. He doesn't have his own Forrest Fenn Treasure coin, does he?
Oh well, he has mine. He doesn't.
Well,
see
I
it.
mean his own. His own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody asked about hotel recommendations. I can give you a couple.
Not on 8
I
Mile?
actually had to go. Yeah, Mike was like, you need to be 14th or higher.
Yeah, 14 mile or higher is a good general rule. 16 mile is kind of a big business area, hotels, conferences. If you're up at 16 mile, that's good. 18 mile, 21 mile. Yeah. I'd say 14 mile or higher if you're going to get a hotel.
And Jeffrey's asking, do we geocache? Yes, we have. We've had a great time because we got a really high-end, or to us high-end, it was about $500. He got it Christmas before last from Santa. Yes, he is 10. Santa still exists in our world. I think
awesome.
This might be our last year, so you guys.
Somebody send him an elf on the shelf. Have you had one of those?
We have an elf on the shelf.
Okay.
There was a little bit of an issue because 2 years ago, it was caught by his dad actually holding it.
You're not supposed to touch him. That's the rule, right?
Exactly. And that's why he came to me and he's like, Dad killed Elf on the Shelf. And I was like, okay, so he doesn't believe on Elf on the Shelf anymore, but he does believe in Santa. And
that's
he
coming
asked me
up.
this year.
Christmas is like not far away, man. Okay.
He asked
you just
for the
reminded
Treasure
me,
X,
like,
but I just got him last weekend the
start
Treasure
playing
X.
Christmas music. Yeah, Treasure X are cool. Yeah, if somebody wants to send them something, send them a Treasure X.
Czar says free lodging at Mike's childhood home if you have a turn.
Yeah, my mom will love that. Good luck with that one.
Your mom probably would be okay with it. Okay.
All right,
and Richard says I'm 62 and Santa still exists. Here's how I said it to my son. He's like, can you tell me? Because I'm getting made fun of. And I said, here's how. I don't care what you say to your friends. What is Santa? And he said, Santa is the guy that brings me presents.
That's right.
I said, so you believe he brings you presents. If you don't, what happens? Because he doesn't bring me presents. I said, he goes, so there's really no downside. And I said, but if you say no, he's like, I think Santa rocks. So
right.
that's the way I look at it. So I don't know. We'll see. He's 10. My daughter's way too cool for that. Like she's like, I'm basically an adult. Okay, she's 12 going on 27. So
Nah.
yeah, but my son, he's still, and actually she's sweet enough. He asked her, and she's like, I don't really know, which was kind of sweet.
Mm.
Yeah, but both of your boys believe, don't they?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. They believe in Elf on the Shelf because I had it last year. It's at the end of one of my videos, and yeah, they were like, he moved. In other words, they woke up one morning and he was somewhere else, and they're like, look, he moved, he did it. So now I'm like, he's keeping an eye on you. But I think I gave it to my ex. Actually, I think I did. I don't have one with me because they were with her for Christmas. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see if I can get a hold of one for this year.
Well, we had, when we lived in Kansas, my daughter was maybe 5 or 6, and we had a huge ice snowstorm.
Right.
And I don't know if you've ever had, you probably have in Detroit, when the snow piles up enough, then all of a sudden it'll crack and it'll come off your side.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
happened to be like midnight on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
So my daughter woke up when it hit, and I
nah.
was like, it's Santa.
Right.
And after that, oh, she was a believer. So there you have it. So
In our household, when I was a kid, it was Elvis, Christmas songs, 8-track. That's how we rolled in the 70s. But so I always play the Elvis Christmas music. But that's just me. Okay. So,
yeah, mine was Dolly Parton. Mine was
right. Right.
mine was all about country stuff. Merle Haggard. Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash.
Cheech and
Too.
Chong. Anybody remember those Christmas comedies? Magic Dust. Okay.
I
Anyway.
didn't have TV as a kid, so
How do you not
I
have
know.
TV?
No, we did. We were allowed to watch the news. That was the only thing we were allowed to watch.
Steve W says which casino? I'm thinking of taking Kpro to Motor City. I just don't know for sure. So you guys remember Todd Birmingham? He was on one of the marathons. He owns an escape room in Ferndale, like 9 Mile and Hilton over there. It's over there by the Hardcore Pawn, if you guys know that reality show. So we were thinking maybe Saturday after the meetup, we see who wants to go to the escape room. But I'm still trying to set that up with Michael or Todd. I'm sorry, not Michael, Todd. So I don't know if we're going to do the escape room or then we're going to go play poker or we're going to do both. So it's kind of up in the air. But Steve, if you're going to show up or you want to know where we're going to be, poker, is that what you said? Or you want to know where we're going to be, just email me. Like I'll be checking my emails all day Saturday. So just email me, at like 6 p.m. and say, where are we going? And then I'll tell you where we're going to go. We're just going to have to play it by ear until the day
There's
of.
3 casinos from what I understand.
Yeah,
If
there's
we don't
3
hit
casinos.
one of them, I will be shocked if we don't hit at least 2 of them. But my over-under is 2.
MGM Grand, Motor City, Greektown. For poker, it'd be a toss-up between MGM Grand, Motor City. I would just say Motor City, but we'll see. Yeah, email me, Steve, that Saturday, and I'll let you know where we end up. Yeah, so I think that's it, everybody. We hit 2 hours. Monday, talk of getting back to the poem. We're getting back in the box. Yeah, so tune in. It will be a lot of fun. We won't talk about Christmas and rap music. Or maybe we will. We'll see.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. All right. Thanks for tuning in. We've got 705 subscribers, so we're getting there.
Yeah, we had 690 today, so a little bit more.
Right. Okay, everybody. We'll see you Monday. Everybody have a good weekend. Bye.